Everybody in the building, man. Oh yeah, man, it got crazy yesterday, man, for Pam Bundy, guys. Yep, it got crazy for Pam Bundy, man. If you in the building, make sure you double tapping that screen, man. That's how you hit the like button. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you are new. Yeah, today we're gonna be looking at Pam Bundy's testimony and questioning from Congress. You know what I'm saying? Basically, they wanted to know, what she was doing with the Epstein files, guys. You know, they were supposed to been out. We were supposed to been seen them. The deadline then came and went, to where people are accusing Bundy of being a part of a government cover-up, guys. Yeah, you can't make this stuff up. Yeah, what's up? Shout out to whoever in the building, man. Make sure y'all type and let me know y'all can hear me down in the comments. You know what I'm saying? Can y'all hear me out there? What's up with it, my boy Chris? What's up, man? We about to get into it, man. Pam Bundy had to testify in front of Congress regarding the Epstein files. Why they ain't already out? Why they so late? The usual. But it got heated, y'all. It got heated. Then we gonna move on to Nancy Guthrie, guys, after we get through with what took place with Pam Bundy, man. How everybody doing, man? What's up, Purple Groovy? How you doing? We in the building, man. Y'all make sure y'all double tapping that screen. Most definitely get those likes up. Get the likes up if you don't do nothing else. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you getting those likes up. Double tap that screen if you're on a mobile device, guys. As we get into Pam Bundy, guys, basically having to testify in front of Congress over the Epstein files, guys, and things get a bit spicy. Let's go.
Thank you so much. Donald Trump's approval rating implodes on his strongest issue. This is from Newsweek today. It says 40% of people approve of Trump's handling of immigration and border security, while 60% disapprove.
Without objection, admitted. Now I recognize the gentleman
20.
from California, Mr. Liu.
This is crazy,
Thank you, Attorney
guys.
General Bundy, for being here
Bundy
today.
Testimony.
I'm going to show you two photos.
Thank you.
I'm going to show you two photos of former Prince Andrew. Prince Andrew attended various parties with Jeffrey Epstein. Under the law Congress passed, you were allowed to redact photos to protect the victims of Epstein's sex trafficking operation. You redacted the photos of this victim's face because you were following the congressional law. Is that correct?
I'm sorry that we redacted the victims.
Because you were following the congressional law, correct?
Yes.
Okay. You have now established that please put the photos back up, that we are looking at a sex trafficking victim. Under the Federal Victims Trafficking Protection Act, not only is Jeffrey Epstein guilty, but anyone who patronizes Epstein's sex operation is also guilty of a crime. That's why I find it absolutely despicable that you sought to protect Epstein's clients, like former Prince Andrew. Last July, you closed the case on Epstein's abusers. The July 2025 memo from your Department of Justice stated, quote, "We did not uncover evidence that could predicate an investigation against uncharged third parties." These two photos, please put the photos back up.
Is Bundy at fault, guys? Do y'all think she's at fault?
Are evidence of a crime and more than enough evidence to predicate an investigation against former Prince Andrew. So I ask you, Attorney General Pam Bundy, why did you shut down this investigation last July, and why have you not prosecuted former Prince Andrew?
I don't believe you asked Merrick Garland these questions when he was Attorney General and set before.
I agree with you.
You twice.
I've been claiming my time. I agree with you. During the Biden administration,
let's go.
I called for people looking at Epstein.
Hey guys, make sure you guys are double tapping that screen. That's how you hit the like button, or click those three dots, hit that thumbs up. Shout out to everybody in the building, man. We're seeing Bundy's testimony to Congress and to where it got heated over the Epstein files.
Merrick Garland dropped the ball, as did Attorney General Bill Barr. as did Alex Acosta, a whole string of failures, but you are in charge. You have the power to change things, to hold these men accountable, and you're doing the opposite. You're protecting them. So I want to move on to another man.
Can I answer
Donald
that,
Trump.
though?
I want to move on to another
Can I answer
question.
your question about protecting?
You answered the question.
You're saying no. I love this.
I want to discuss another man, Donald Trump, who is all over the Epstein files. Like,
Let's get in there. You're talking about Epstein. Double tap that screen, guys. Make sure you guys double tap that screen. Get the likes up. I don't know what the music is about. It just broke out in the music, guys. I guess they didn't hack the system. But this is Pam Bundy testifying to Congress about the Epstein files, guys. Get those likes up.
Jeffrey Epstein. I want to know, were there any underage girls at that party or at any party that Trump attended with Jeffrey Epstein?
This is so ridiculous, and that they are trying to deflect from all the great things Donald Trump has done. There is no evidence that Donald Trump has committed a crime. Everyone knows that. This has been the most
His name is all in the files.
He's the one that asked that those files.
I reclaim my time. I got your answer. You said there's no
President
evidence.
Trump asked
Mr. Chairman, please
us
stop the clock.
to
Please stop the clock.
sign the legislation.
Time.
This is
Time.
this
I'd like
is
to reclaim my
ridiculous.
time.
How she gonna say it ain't no evidence against Trump? His name is in the files like 10 million times.
The gentleman from California.
Okay. I'm going to put up another document from a witness who called the FBI's National Threat
Hey, Lady
Operations Center,
Swag.
because I believe you just lied under oath. There is ample evidence in the Epstein file.
Don't
Let's
you
go.
ever
Let's
accuse
go.
me of a
I believe
crime.
you just
There
lied
we
under
go.
oath in the Epstein file.
Don't
Say she
Because
just lied.
I believe you just lied under oath.
Let's go.
There is ample evidence in the Epstein file.
don't you
Talking
ever
about Trump
accuse
ain't in
me
there.
of a
What?
I
crime.
believe you just lied under oath.
Let's
and
go,
This
she
is on
did.
videotape. You said there's no evidence of a crime. I'm showing you. Here is a witness statement who called into the FBI's Threat Operations Center. He drove Donald Trump around in a limo. He overheard what Donald Trump said to Jeffrey on his cell phone. He was so angry, he was going to stop the limo and hurt Donald Trump. And he met a girl who said she was raped by Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein.
Uh-oh.
She later had her head blown off, and officers at the scene said that could not have been suicide. No one at the Department of Justice interviewed this witness. You need to interview this witness.
Hey, this is good. Y'all better double tap that screen. Get the likes up, guys. We had 272 people, only got 17 likes. The way you hit the like button is double tapping the screen on your mobile device or clicking those three dots, hitting that thumbs up, guys. Either one of those will work. I asked y'all to do that because it helps out the channel. Get the likes up, guys. Make sure you guys are subscribing if you are new. Yeah, this is good.
Immediately. Epstein should rot in hell. So should the men who patronized his operation. And as we say here today, there are over 1,000 sex trafficking victims, and you have not held a single man accountable. Shame on you. If you had any decency, you would resign right after this hearing concludes.
The gentleman has expired.
Wow.
May I
It's getting hot
respond?
in there, guys.
Yeah, I don't know how you respond. No,
It's getting hot in there,
He
guys.
doesn't
You're
want to
allowed
talk
to.
about
I did
the
not ask a
horrific
question.
crime in California. He does not want to talk
I
about
did not ask a
crime
question.
in his
She
state.
can't just
Madam
ad lib
Attorney
stuff. I did not ask a question.
Meeting will be in order. The gentleman has yielded back his time. I think recognizes the gentleman
What's
from
up,
California.
John?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would note that Mr. Nadler's question has not yet been answered, but I want to start by asking that out of respect for the American public and the Epstein survivors, some of whom, of course, are here today, that we can have a transparent conversation and get the public the answers they deserve. I want to briefly direct your attention to two documents I'm hoping we will put up on the screen. In the first, an individual emails Jeffrey Epstein asking whether a woman identified as M was pro or civilian, and Epstein responds that she was a civilian, Russian, and fun. In the second
Civilian,
email,
Russian, and
Epstein
fun,
writes to
guys.
Steve Tisch about a Ukrainian girl, noting that she was, quote, a little freaked out by the age difference and stating that he would try to convince her not to return to Ukraine. He then instructs Mr. Tisch to call him adding, I don't like records of these conversations. So I'd like to ask a straightforward question that really is either a yes or no answer. Do these emails constitute credible evidence, not proof, but credible evidence warning further investigation into whether Steve Tisch was involved in Epstein's criminal conduct? Do you think yes or no?
I'm not going to play a yes/no game with you, but I will answer
wow.
the question to the best of my ability. As I said, we will look and investigate any case involving any victim. I'm not familiar, there were 3 million pages, of course, with that email, but of course, we will look into anything. The documents have been released, 3 million, the redacted versions, we left them open for all of you to come view. Have you, I believe you viewed them, if not, will you have some copies?
I'd like to.
But can I finish, please?
No, y'all didn't exactly leave them open. Y'all get presented to those lawyers files that were still redacted, and then they found out that some of the things that weren't redacted contain some of the victims' names that y'all was supposed to be protecting. It's crazy, guys.
I'm not being rude, please.
I only have 5 minutes.
No, yeah, and I only have 30 seconds based on your filibuster.
Oh, wow.
Give a yes or no answer. So let me just go further. Director Patel testified in this committee room that there was no credible information indicating that Epstein trafficked victims to anyone else. And glancing at the documents, that's proves that's not the case. In July, your department issued a memo stating that it had conducted an exhaustive review of the Epstein files and concluded that no additional individuals would be charged. So I did go over to the Department of Justice yesterday. I would note that 400 and
She said good.
our 35 members are in the House, and there's 4 computers. So it would take many months to actually have the time. I only had a few hours. I think the transparency argument is really kind of a sham because it's not really possible.
Whoa. Did you have to wait to get a computer?
It is not possible to
Get in there,
really
buddy.
go in. I did, however, see a U.S. attorney information for the Southern District of New York indicating that there were additional survivors and probable co-conspirators. Other members of Congress have uncovered likely co-conspirators whose names were blocked out. Now, the Epstein File Transparency Act, which all but one member of this House voted for and the president signed, requires the department to release everything except that it needs to be redacted to protect the victims or an ongoing prosecution, which apparently there is none from the testimony we have received. I am concerned that this act has not been fully complied with. When Director Patel came to the committee, he admitted that up to 1,000 FBI agents had gone through the files and redacted President Trump's name from them. And it's pretty clear that what has been transmitted from the FBI continues to redact President Trump's name, even though—
Drop a 1 if you think this whole thing is a cover-up, guys. Drop a 2 if you think they putting the facts out. If you think somebody's trying to cover something up, drop a 1. If you think they're presenting all the facts, drop a 2. Most definitely double tap that screen. That's how you get the likes up, guys. We need 100 on the board. We need 60 more likes. If you're on a mobile device, double tap that screen or click those 3 dots, hit that thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. I see a bunch of ones down there. A lot of y'all feel like they're hiding something, huh? I see a 2 amongst the sea of ones down there. I see y'all. I see another 2. It's hey, we're a house divided today, guys. We're a house divided. I see that it's a lot of varying opinions down there, but looks like the ones are outweighing the 2s right now. The ones are outweighing the 2s.
He is mentioned, thousands of times in these files. So I think the credibility of the department in terms of complying with the act has been damaged. And I think the department's credibility has been damaged in other ways. I think we all saw the horrible video of American citizens being killed by ICE agents in Minneapolis. And I think how the department has handled these cases raises a lot of doubt about the department. State and local police in Minnesota got a court order to get access to the crime scene to be sure evidence would be properly preserved by federal agents. But they took the agents defied the court order, and in a departure from general policy, the DOJ is not collaborating with state and local law enforcement on these homicides. So I really think that is a disgraceful approach to the homicides of American citizens, and really does nothing to bring credit to your department. And Mr. Chairman, I would yield back.
Gentlelady yields back.
May I answer?
Attorney General can
She didn't
respond.
even
I find it interesting
she
that
didn't
she
even
was
try
going
to let
after
her
President Trump, the greatest president in American history. And if they could maintain their composure, this isn't a circus, this is a hearing. I find it interesting she keeps going after Donald Trump. She doesn't say how much money she took from Reid Hoffman, did you? And
flexing her muscles.
Regular order, please.
she posted nothing.
Flexing her muscles. Pam say, hey, man, I got information on all y'all.
On her X account,
Gentlelady.
on her Twitter account during the Biden years.
Gentlelady.
Yet now, all of a sudden,
question
she's going after.
Committee will be in
going after
order.
There was no
files.
question
Shame on
asked,
you.
Attorney General. She doesn't just get to.
Committee will be in
I
order.
have a point of order, Mr. Chairman.
Committee will be in order.
Point of order, Mr. Chairman.
Gentlelady can state her point of order.
When a witness attacks,
Not a valid point of order. You got to state.
She hasn't completed her point of order yet. Please let her
Boy,
speak,
it
Mr.
is
Chairman. Let's have
heated
some
in there,
regular
guys.
order here.
Regular order is you got to state the rule. And
I am trying to make a point of order that the witness,
And what rule are you referring to?
without responding to a question, has attacked me personally. I think it's pathetic that she can't answer the questions and
First
instead
time
is attacking
that is not even close
members
to a
of the.
point. Gentleman from California.
Great, thank you. Madam Attorney General, you
It's heated
acknowledged
in there, guys.
earlier to
Look.
Mr. Johnson that President Trump was mentioned in the release countless times, you said, in the Epstein files. I just want to play a video, though, for you that I think speaks to the frustration that many of these victims have. Of times Trump's name appears in the files, so it could at least be 1,000 times. Is that right?
The number is a total misleading factor. We have not
the
released
number at
anyone's
least be 1,000
name
times.
we have not released anyone's
Could it
name in the
at least
Epstein
be
files
1,000
that has not been credible.
Director, could it at
We have
least be 1,000
released
times?
every piece of legally permissible information.
Okay,
You can
so-
characterize the numbers however you want it.
Claiming my time, Director. It sounds like if you don't know the number, it could at least be 1,000 times. Which
It's not.
leads me-
It's not.
Is it at least 500 times?
No.
Is it at least 100 times?
No.
Then what's the number?
I don't know the number.
Wow.
I understand why the victims are frustrated, and the Attorney General acknowledged what Mr. Patel would not acknowledge, that it was way more.
Hey guys, let's take time to double tap that screen. Get the likes up. We got over 1,000 people in the building and only got 72 likes. Let's double tap that screen if we're on a mobile device, or click the 3 dots in the right-hand corner. Hit that thumbs up, guys. It helps out the channel, man. This is Pam Bundy's testimony, to Congress regarding the Epstein files. And yeah, man, it was a lot going on, man. A lot.
Than 1,000 times. But I want to move, Madam Attorney General, to weaponization of government. And yesterday it was reported that 6 members of Congress had indictments sought against him, and they were not returned by a grand jury. My colleagues have spoken about their frustration of being in subpoenas and having cell phone records combed through. Well, in 2017 and 2018, Adam Schiff and I had our cell phone records and email records combed through, not by you, but a different Department of Justice under the president. It was in retaliation for our role in the Russia interference campaign. An Inspector General report would find this improper and that the predicate for it was absurd. In 2020, after sitting on 2 committees that were a part of the president's first impeachment, an FBI agent leaked my cooperation in a national security case where my campaign was targeted. The president's FBI senior leadership authorized 2 statements to the press that said I was never suspected of wrongdoing and only helped the investigation. But that didn't stop the death threats or my GOP colleagues from referring me to an ethics investigation where Kevin McCarthy's chairman on the ethics committee would find the same thing as the FBI. Our current FBI director would then write a book called Government Gangsters and identify a long list of enemies. About a quarter of them have been either investigated or indicted. He listed me at the very top along with Adam Schiff, and during that same testimony refused to recuse himself when asked if he would recuse if any case came across his desk involving me or people on that list. Since that testimony, his department has put me under investigation with Senator Schiff for the nonsense mortgage fraud cases that we've seen. I get it. This is what the president does. I've priced it in. We have a bingo card at home that my kids have made of what will come next. I expected that the president would come after his
Dang,
enemies.
y'all think Bundy should be in jail? Lord, they say Bundy for prison. Wow.
But what I want to talk to you next is serious, and I did not expect this would happen, and I'd like your help on it. The president has inspired death threats against me and many sitting up here with me. In June 2025.
Whoa, this guy says the president has sent death threats at him. And other people too. He telling one of the head people of the DOJ this, man. That's crazy, man. Listen to these people.
An individual left 11 voicemails at my district office. On the voicemails, they said, get the message to him. I'm going to hunt him down, that motherfucker, and toss his ass over the Golden Gate Bridge by my fucking self.
Whoa!
Donald Trump's Department of Justice in the Northern District of California declined to prosecute. On May 14, 2025, on Twitter, responding to something I posted, an individual said, no, it wasn't Eric, and now I'm going to kill you.
Wow.
The Department of Justice from the Southern District of Texas declined.
The trolls ain't no good. You know, them wasn't number trolls off in there telling them they was going to unalive him. Wow. And said that Trump didn't even want to push charges against those people.
To prosecute. May through December of 2025, we received messages at my office that said, I hope somebody shoots you and your children and your wife in the head. Pew, pew, motherfucker.
Wow. Whoa, 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 whoa. God, boy, the trolls can get out of hand sometime. Oh my goodness. Wow. Don't take that man, family. What's going on? And call him an MFer. Goodness gracious.
Pew, pew. I would stay indoors as much as possible, and my children, unfortunately, have to do that. The Department of Justice has not charged this individual and cited that he's a prolific caller and has health conditions. Although what we have found in our own investigation and his voicemails is that he has said he will employ others to do this. The president can come after me. It's fine. I'm in the arena. So are these folks. But we never expected that the Department of Justice would not seek to prosecute and investigate those who are making threats against us. And that would include those on that side of the aisle. And I'm just asking for your help to protect life, because life is at risk with the environment we're in right now.
Congressman, I completely agree with you. I know about several of those personally involving you. I believe one has been charged publicly, and there's something I would be happy to talk to you about off camera. But I can assure you that they are
He wasn't talking about you, Pam. He was talking about Trump not wanting to do nothing. But now she's ready to do something. Let's go. Man, make sure if you're new to the channel, you're subscribing. Double tap that screen. That's how you hit the like button if you're on a mobile device. Or click those 3 dots, hit that thumbs up as we watch Pam Bundy testify in front of Congress, guys, about the Epstein files and a little bit of this and a little bit of that.
very serious. They are being looked into, and I can give you more details on those. None of you should be threatened, ever. None of your children should be threatened. None of your families should be threatened. And I will work with, you can come into my office any day. I will work with all of you on both sides of the aisle if you are ever threatened. And I'll gladly talk to you after this hearing about your cases. But I can tell you some of them are very active.
Appreciate that. And I yield back.
Gentleman yields back, and we're sorry for what the gentleman and his family have had to go through. We appreciate what the Attorney General said. And I think some of the things that...
Are you up next? Gentleman from New York is recognized.
Mr. Chairman, I want to begin by acknowledging the survivors of Jeffrey Epstein's horrific abuse who are in the room with us today. I want to thank all of you for your bravery in speaking out. And I want to say that you and the other survivors of these heinous crimes deserve better from this Department of Justice. In particular, it is shocking that the department did not redact the names of Epstein's victims, but it did redact the names of their abusers. I don't know whether this was done out of incompetence or whether it was deliberate and malicious, but either way, it is completely unacceptable. Even more troubling, the DOJ has failed to bring any of these perpetrators to justice. Instead, it has engaged in a relentless pursuit of... I most definitely think it's supposed to be more people arrested. How about y'all, guys? Do y'all think that it should be more people arrested behind this Epstein thing that are not being arrested that you feel should be? Because I do. Trump's perceived enemies. I want to focus on just one example. The Attorney General of my home state of New York, Tish James. This DOJ has been hell-bent on securing an indictment against Ms. James for something, anything, simply because she held Donald Trump's companies accountable for years of financial fraud. And indeed, the department manufactured an investigation against her for alleged, quote, mortgage fraud. But the U.S. attorney leading the investigation, Eric Siebert, a Trump appointee, refused to bring charges against Ms. James because there was simply no evidence. Unfortunately, a prosecutor who refuses to do Trump's bidding has no place in this DOJ, so Mr. Siebert was forced out. Trump could not contain his fury that he expressed to you in a social media post addressed to you by name. I'm sure you've seen it. Quote, I fired him and there is a great case, he wrote to you about Mr. Siebert. Then we moved down. We can't delay any longer. It's killing our reputation and credibility. They impeached me twice and indicted me 5 times over nothing. Justice must be served now. And obviously, you followed that order. Lindsay Halligan, Trump's former defense lawyer who had never prosecuted a case in her life, was installed to replace Mr. Siebert, and it was clear that part of her mandate was to go after Ms. James. Halligan immediately sought an indictment, which a court dismissed because Halligan was illegally put into the role. But your department was undeterred, and not once, but twice, it tried to indict Attorney General James in separate courts. Both grand juries rejected you and refused to indict her. It is practically unheard of for a grand jury to refuse an indictment. In 2016, it happened in just 6 cases out of over 150,000 offenses. And you had it happen twice in the same week, in 2 different courts. That must have been humiliating. And now there are reports that you are continuing to investigate her. The amount of resources that have gone into targeting Attorney General James, months of investigations, multiple failed indictments, is astounding. Since your own prosecutors told you that there is not enough evidence to support a conviction, it's clear that you are going after her simply because she held President Trump accountable and he wants to punish her. And she is just one name on a long list of Trump political enemies that DOJ is reportedly targeting. From Jerome Powell and Lisa Cook at the Federal Reserve to James Comey, numerous Democratic members of Congress, John Brennan, Jack Smith, Democratic officials in Minnesota, Chris Krebs, Miles Taylors, and more. And those are just the ones we know about. In contrast to these politically motivated investigations, grasping at something they can charge their enemies with, we now have concrete evidence of disgusting criminality revealed in the Epstein files. So I really have just one question for you. How many of Epstein's co-conspirators have you indicted? How many perpetrators are you even investigating?
Let's go.
First,
shout out to all the people that's subscribing.
How many have you indicted?
Excuse me, I'm going to answer the question.
Answer my question.
No, I'm going to answer the question the way I want to answer the question.
No, you're going to answer the question the way I asked it.
Chairman Jordan, I'm not going to get in the gutter with these people.
How many
I'm going to answer the question.
How many have you indicted?
Again, the time belongs to me.
Reclaiming my time.
Man, what you know about getting in the gutter? She said, I'm not going to get in the gutter with these people.
The time belongs.
I think it's very interesting.
My time.
I think it's very interesting.
You can
when
reclaim
he
your
talks
time.
about they indicted, the president said they indicted him twice.
Mr. Chairman, please
They
stop the
sure
clock
did.
and stop the
he
clock and
indicted.
restore his time.
Okay, here we go with
Committee
these
will get in order.
theatrics.
The time belongs to the gentleman from New York. We will give you a few more seconds. We will do that. But when you ask the question, the witness gets to answer. You may not like the answer, but she gets to
The
answer.
question was, how many of Epstein's...
They don't like the answer, Chairman,
my time.
because it's honest.
Reclaiming-
So he asked a
Reclaiming my
4-minute question.
Restore 45
and
seconds,
I am
Mr. Nadler,
going
please,
to
Mr. Chairman.
answer.
You can let her filibuster all day long, but not on our watch. Not on our time. No way. And I told you about that, Attorney General, before you started.
You don't tell me.
Yeah, I did tell you.
Wow.
I saw what you did in the Senate.
You're a lawyer, not even a
Committee will be in order.
Tell him he's not even a lawyer. Hey, man, Bundy don't be playing when she go up in there, though. She be ready. I'm just saying. She get on all they top.
Back at least 45 seconds.
We will give you a few more seconds. I said that already.
45 seconds.
Okay, I'm timing right now, Mr. Nadler. Go.
All right.
My time. The answer to my
Bundy
question,
say
how
she
many of
running the
Epstein's
show.
co-conspirators has she indicted, is 0. You have been the Attorney General for a whole year, and your DOJ fired the lead prosecutor of this case, sat on evidence this entire time, and claimed falsely last July that there were no more leads. It took an act of Congress for you to finally release part of the Epstein files.
We need 60 more likes, guys, to hit 200 on that like, man. Please double tap that screen, if you're on a mobile device, or click those 3 dots, hit that thumbs up, y'all. It helps out the channel. Let's get the likes up.
And when you did, you included personal information about the victims while protecting the names of abusers.
Time of the gentleman
None of
has
the perpetrators
expired.
were brought to justice, but enormous resources
Time of the gentleman has expired, and
It's
obviously
clear that under your leadership, the Department of Justice
there was
no longer
no
works
question in there.
It works.
Order responded
He say he gonna say what he gotta
The
say.
gentleman yields back.
May I answer?
I think our next questioner, Madam Attorney General, is going to give you time to respond to
Thank you, Chairman.
all kinds of things. So we will turn to the gentleman from Texas for 5 minutes.
They
Ms.
ain't letting
Bonner, you
her
go
talk
right
at
ahead.
all.
Over here. The time is yours.
Thank you. First, he brought up the president saying they indicted me twice. They sure did. They tried to impeach him twice. And you, Mr. Nadler, were one of the leads on the impeachment. I was on the other side. I lived that with you. During impeachment, you said the president conspired, sought foreign interference in the 2016 election. Robert Mueller found no evidence, none, of foreign interference in 2016. Have you apologized to President Trump? Have you apologized to President Trump, all of you who participated in those impeachment hearings against Donald Trump?
Pull the Trump card, Bundy. Bundy say she pulling the Trump card on him.
You all should be apologizing. You sit here and you attack the president, and I am not going to have it. I'm not going to put up with it. All they want to do, the American people need to know this. They are talking about Epstein today. This has been around since the Obama administration. This administration released over 3 million pages of documents, over 3 million. And Donald Trump signed that law to release all of those documents.
I think I done heard Bundy right now say Trump name more than the Epstein files. Man, get the likes up. We almost there, guys. We need 30 more likes to hit 200. If you don't know how, double tap the screen of your mobile device, guys, or click the 3 dots in the right-hand corner. Hit that thumbs up as Bundy goes on a Trump spree. I'm just saying.
He is the most transparent president in the nation's history. And none of them ask Merrick Garland over the last 4 years one word about Jeffrey Epstein. How ironic is that? You know why? Because Donald Trump, the Dow right now is over $50,000. I don't know why you're laughing. You're a great...
What that got to do with them asking about the Epstein files? I think people only asked y'all because Trump campaigned on it. Kinda. They asked him a question, would you release the Epstein files? Trump said, yeah. And now he's president. They want what he said he was going to do. That's how it went. That's how Trump and the Epstein files became entwined about him releasing the files. On that interview, he said he would release them. So now the people want him. Don't get mad at the people because they want him, because he was the one that brought it up.
Stock trader, as I hear Raskin. The Dow is over 50,000 right now. The S&P at almost 7,000. And the NASDAQ smashing records. American...
And you said you had them sitting on your desk. And we don't know what you had sitting on your desk. But you said you got asked the question, Pam, and you said you had them sitting on your desk. That's another reason why people are like this.
401ks and retirement savings are booming. That's what we should be talking about. We should be talking about making Americans safe. We should be talking about, what does a Dow have to do with anything? That's what they just asked.
Yes, it got nothing to do with nothing.
Mr. Jordan.
Committee will be in order.
Mr. Jordan, am I going to get an extra 45 seconds added to my time?
The committee will be in order. The time belongs to the gentleman from Texas. Ms. Bondi, the Attorney General can respond.
Thank you. The Dow has shattered 50,000 for the first time. This is crazy. They said it couldn't be done in 4 years, yet President Trump has done it in 1 year. National median rents have fallen to a 4-year low thanks to Donald Trump. That's why they want to focus on Epstein and our most transparent president in the nation's history. The murder rate, as I said, has plummeted to a 125-year low thanks to Donald Trump. For an unprecedented 9 straight months, there were 0 illegal border crossings at the southern border.
You trying to throw us off. We don't want to talk about none of that. We want to talk about you and the Epstein files and why they're redacted and why some of them ain't redacted that should be redacted and some of the ones that shouldn't be redacted is redacted. That's what we want to talk about. We don't want to talk about the Dow. We don't want to talk about economic oil. We don't want to talk about Venezuela. We talking about the Epstein files.
That's what we should be focused on.
No.
All the great work that this president has done and will continue to do to keep America safe.
No, we want to focus on why his name is in the Epstein file so many times. Why somebody allegedly did something to the woman that came out and spoke against Epstein, and then they said she tried to unalive herself. We want to talk about that. Yeah, let's keep talking about that.
And to make Americans safe.
Thank you. Gentlelady from Washington's recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, Attorney General Bondi, right here. We are joined in this room by some of the thousands of survivors from Jeffrey Epstein's horrific sex trafficking ring. They have shown such incredible courage in speaking out, in demanding accountability to bring the predators and pedophiles to justice. The Epstein Files Transparency Act required your Department of Justice to disclose the perpetrators connected with Epstein's criminal activities and to redact the information of survivors to protect their identities. Let me show you what actually happened. First, in violation of the law, your department has shown a pattern.
Gas is not $1.99 where I live at. It's $2 and something. It's most definitely above $1.99, sir.
Of redacting the names of powerful predators. Here behind me is one example of an email from Epstein to a man whose name was redacted. The email reads, quote, "Where are you? Are you okay? I loved the torture video." Only after members of Congress demanded that we see the unredacted files did the world learn the name of this individual, Sultan Ahmed bin Sulayman.
Did she just say that the man replied, "I love the torture videos"? Drop a 1 if you heard that. Torture? Torture? And it ain't nobody else that's supposed to be in jail. But Epstein is sending torture videos. Wow.
Loved the torture video.
Yeah, that's what she said. That's what she said. A torture video. Wow.
Are you okay? I loved the torture video. Only after members of Congress demanded that we see the unredacted files did the world learn the name of this individual, Sultan Ahmed bin Sulayman, the chairman and CEO of a company that had financial ties to President Trump's business and personal ties to Trump's advisor, Steve Bannon. Second, the survivors were not similarly protected, also in violation of the law. Here is another email titled Epstein Victim List. We have blurred the names of the survivors.
Epstein Victim List? Oh, wow.
Their protection, but your Department of Justice initially released this list of 32 survivors' names with only one name redacted, along with numerous files that disclose not only the names, the emails, and the addresses of survivors, but also nude photographs and even the identities of Jane Does who had been protected for decades until your department released their names. Survivors are now telling us that their families are finding out for the first time that they were trafficked by Epstein. In their words, quote, This release does not provide closure. It feels like a deliberate attempt to intimidate survivors, punish those who came forward, and reinforce the same culture of secrecy that allowed Epstein's crimes to continue for decades.
And I got words from the survivors coming up in a minute, guys. This is crazy. You know what I'm saying? This is wild, man. And this is real. It seems like a TV show, a movie or something like that, y'all. But this is like what's really going on. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is crazy. Like, I don't think any other time has been as crazy when it comes to politics and things of that nature that just play out on screen as this. This here is on a whole nother level. Like, man, it's like, this is really real. This ain't no movie. This is real life. Wow.
To the survivors in the room, if you are willing, please stand. And if you are willing, please raise your hands if you have still not been able to meet with this Department of Justice. Please know for the record that every single survivor has raised their hand. Attorney General Bondi, you apologized to the survivors in your opening statement for what they went through at the hands of Jeffrey Epstein.
Most definitely justice for the victims. I see 6028 says, victim's story hurt my heart when I heard it. I bet.
Will you turn to them now and apologize for what your Department of Justice has put them through with the absolutely unacceptable release of the Epstein files and their information?
She asked Pam Bundy to apologize to the victims. Let's see what Bundy did.
Congresswoman, you sat before Merrick Garland sat in this chair twice.
Attorney General
Twice.
Bondi.
No, can I finish my answer?
No, I'm going to reclaim my time because I asked you a specific question that I would like you to answer, which is, will you turn to the survivors? This is not about anybody that came before you. It is about you taking responsibility for your Department of Justice and the harm that it has done to the survivors who are standing right behind you and are waiting for you to turn to them and apologize for what your Department of Justice is.
Members get to ask the questions, the witness gets to answer in the way they want to answer. The Attorney General can
That's
respond.
not accurate, Mr. Chairman.
Because she doesn't like the
my
answer.
time.
So,
Mr. Chairman,
why
I have asked
didn't she ask Merrick Garland this?
I am reclaiming my time, and when I
will
reclaim my
continue to
time, it
answer.
is.
Mr. Chairman, the gentlelady's
I'm
reclaimed
not
the
going to
time.
get in the gutter for her theatrics.
The time belongs to the
Another gutter
gentlelady. The
slam
gentlelady has
again.
17 seconds.
Thank you. You're not going to answer this question, so let me just
Chairman,
say
I'll
this.
direct it to
What a
you.
massive
No, I'm
cover-up.
answering a
Mr.
question.
Chairman, will you restore her time? The witness is interrupted.
And notice, she still hasn't apologized to the victims for anything. Bundy hasn't. And ain't.
Got her with this woman.
Stop the
She's
time
doing
and
theatrics.
let me have my time.
The gentlelady from Washington controls the time. The gentlelady has 17 seconds. You can proceed with your final
Thank you.
17 seconds.
What a massive cover-up this has been and continues to be. Donald Trump made the release of the Epstein files the center of his political campaign because he thought it would benefit him. Then you got into office, Attorney General, claimed to have a client list, only
Regular
to
order.
then say that there was no list. Your deputy, Todd Blanche, met
She done
alone
turned up.
with
The gentlelady
Elaine
has-
Maxwell
the time of the
and
gentlelady has
transferred her
expired.
to a minimum security prison. And now you continue
The time of the
cover-up.
gentlelady
And I
has
wish
expired.
that you would turn around to the survivors who are standing right behind you and on a human level,
Chairman,
apologize
Chair now recognizes the chair.
on what you have done.
The time of the
I
gentlelady
yield
expired.
back.
The gentlelady, you have no time to yield back.
Theatrics.
We appreciate the thought.
They fired up over there, man. They are fired up. We need 60 more likes, guys, to hit 300. Make sure you're double tapping that screen if you're on a mobile device, or click those three dots, hit that thumbs up, man. They are turned all the way up. Yeah, they ain't letting Bundy speak.
Kentucky is recognized.
They say
May I
she
respond
playing
very
games.
briefly to her statement?
Well, I think we can do that
Okay.
probably on, one of our members' time.
Okay, thank you. I don't want that to get away. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Behind me, I have 3 documents from the DOJ production that are emblematic of the massive failure of the DOJ to comply with the Epstein Files Transparency Act. To my right is an email that was sent by the victim's lawyers to the DOJ. It was a list of names not to redact, a list of names not to release. What did the DOJ do with this email? They released this email in the document production. Literally the worst thing you could do to the survivors, you did. And they're getting phone calls. A lot of these people didn't want to be known. And we know you touched the document because you redacted one name and you redacted the lawyer's name, but you left the survivor's name there. The next document I want to show you.
This is one of the lawyers right here for the victims.
That was in the title, the victims' survivors' names, all right? The title of this one is Child Sex Trafficking. Co-conspirators, fully redacted. And by the way, I'm gonna unredact them here. Les Wexner is in this. Now your your deputy attorney general said, oh, well, he appears hundreds of times in the files, but he doesn't appear in this file until I forced you to release it, where he's listed as a co-conspirator, not to tax evasion, but to child sex trafficking, not to prostitution, not to money laundering, child sex trafficking. And then finally, what we have here is the third exhibit that I have is emblematic of the FD-302 release. These are the documents that we need that you're holding on to and over redacting because they have the names of the men who are implicated. How do we know? Because the survivors gave testimony to the FBI and it's in there. And what happens when you go to the portal at the DOJ to look at what's behind this redaction? Another redaction. So we can't even see them. And then there's some of these files you've pulled down from the website.
I told y'all they went to go view the unredacted files and got more redacted files. I covered that the last time I was live, like a day ago, you know? So yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. It's crazy. Pam Bundy.
We will never see because we can't search the redactions. So I have several questions for you. Who's responsible? Are you able to track who in your organization made this massive failure and released the victims' names? Are you able to track who it was that obscured Les Wexner's name as a co-conspirator in an FBI document? Do you have that kind of accountability?
What say
I
she,
believe
Pam?
Wexner's name was listed more than 4,000 times.
Yeah, I already told you that. This is where he's listed as a co-conspirator.
Finish my answer. Come on, let me finish my answer.
They ain't letting Pam
We
talk.
corrected
I
that
told
within
y'all.
40 minutes. He was already, you're acting like everybody's trying to cover up Wexner's name.
Reclaiming my time.
I'm going to answer this question.
Reclaiming my time.
He was,
Mr.
this
Chairman.
isn't how this works.
Can I have my time back?
Mr.
Chairman.
The gentlelady can give her answer. The time belongs to the gentleman from.
All right, I'm reclaiming my
Can I give
time.
my answer?
So I'm going to put the language of the bill up on the screen.
They ain't letting her get a
Chairman,
word
can I
in.
give my answer on that?
Yeah.
It's a political
the question.
joke, and I need to give my answer on that.
We'll let the Attorney General respond, and then the gentleman can move to his next
Chairman,
question.
it's my time.
Within 40
Chairman.
minutes, you asked me a question.
You can give
Within
me-
40 minutes, Wexner's name was added back.
Within 40 minutes of me catching you red-handed.
There was one redaction out
Where
of
he's
over
listed as a
4,700,
co-conspirator.
and
Okay.
we invited
You know what?
you
Show the video.
This
Show
guy
the-
has Trump derangement syndrome. He needs
Show
to
the
get, you're a failed politician.
Gentlemen,
You need to
Trump
get on
derangement
your
syndrome. That go Trump
Restore his
again.
time and remind the witness of the rules
There
here.
is no credible information. None. If there were, I would bring the case yesterday that he trafficked to other individuals.
Is that your position as well?
My position is any victim who comes forward, of course, we would love to hear from them. 1-800-CALL-FBI. Did you ask Merrick Garland that the last 4 years? Did you talk about Epstein?
I am reclaiming my time. I'm glad you're asking about Merrick Garland.
You don't get to reclaim
because
time
this
when
is
you don't
bigger than
when you can't-
Watergate.
when I don't answer a question the
This
way you
goes
want.
over 4 administrations. You don't have to go back to Biden. Let's go back to Obama. Let's go back to George Bush. This cover-up spans decades.
Cover
and
up.
you are responsible for this portion of it.
And that's
Now,
where the
I want to know at what point did the FBI and the DOJ decide that Lex Wessner was not a co-conspirator? Because our Epstein Files Transparency Act requires you, please put it back on the screen, please, to release the entire...
Hey, y'all notice she hasn't really answered a question, and they ain't really let her answer a question either. Like, they are on her neck, guys. Let's double tap that screen. We 16 likes away from 300, guys. Double tap that screen if you have not, if you're on a mobile device, or click those 3 dots, hit that thumbs up, y'all. You know what I'm saying? That's a way to support the channel, man. It helps out the channel, helps the channel to grow. Most definitely hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you're new.
Decision about whether to prosecute him or not, and it's not in the files, and it's not in the files for any of these other men.
Time of the gentleman has expired.
May she answer?
And he's a hypocrite because he voted against the ban that we were talking about on deep fake AI porn. Only 2 people voted against it, and you were one of them, hypocrite.
The gentleman's time has expired.
Didn't answer the question.
Called him and didn't answer the
Could
question.
she answer the question? Chairman, I was wondering...
The gentlelady's allowed, the Attorney General's allowed to respond the way she wants to respond to any member's questions, Republican, Democrat.
All right, I have unanimous consent request.
Gentleman's recognized for a UC.
All right, this is an example. I'm submitting these 302 forms that are
Showing the
entirely
redactions.
redacted. Even when you go to look at
Without
them,
objection.
I'm submitting a witness statement that implicates Les Wexner.
Without objection.
I'm submitting an article from the New York Times that the DOJ released nude photos and identifiable pictures of the victims. I'm submitting a letter from A.G. Bondi to Kash Patel, imploring him to quit keeping the files when you found out that they were keeping files from you, because they're still redacting files that you...
Chairman, are we going to?
Did y'all hear that? Quit
keeping the files.
Quit keeping
when you
the
found
files.
out that they were keeping files from you, because they're still redacting files that you...
Chairman, are we going to?
I'm going to
recess for votes?
Yes, we are.
I'm submitting for unanimous consent a document of 17 individuals who've resigned because of the Epstein files.
Without objection.
Yeah, it's a cover up going on somewhere. He said that
Checking what time,
Kash
how much time
Patel
left.
and them was hiding files from her because they were currently still, covering up. Basically, that's what that lawyer just said for the victims. Told Pam Bundy. Yeah, it's been a cover up going on for years. Wow.
Votes, but one thing I've learned here.
This is good.
They'll wait on us. How much time do we have? Oh, they just called. Okay. The chair now recognizes the gentleman from Maryland.
And thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to start by saying I appreciate what you said, Attorney General Bondi, and you said it to me personally, that you take the personal security of every member of Congress seriously and that people can contact you about that. And in these times, that's a very serious matter. So I thank you for that. Article 2, Section 1, Clause 7 of the Constitution is the Domestic Emoluments Clause. And it says that the president is limited to his salary in office and cannot receive any other money from the federal government while he's in office. It cannot be increased by $1. This president is the first president in U.S. history who has repeatedly sued the federal government for $230 million for the judicial search warrant at Mar-a-Lago, which was perfectly lawful and was never struck down. But now he's suing the IRS for $10 billion. He's suing the IRS for $10 billion, which I think is around 80% of its annual budget, because his tax returns were leaked. And they were illegally leaked by a private contractor who actually is in prison now, Charles Littlejohn, but he wants $10 billion. Now, but I want to ask you the question of whether you think it would violate the Domestic Emoluments Clause for you to settle that $10 billion case or any of the other claims that the president has made against the government. He himself has remarked it's interesting because I'm the one that makes the deal, right? And he says, I kind of have to work it out with myself. Do you think it would violate the Domestic Emoluments Clause for the president to work out a deal from people who are his subordinates under his unitary executive theory to get money in one of these cases?
I'm not going to discuss pending litigation.
Okay, so theoretically, you're saying because his privacy rights were violated in that tax case, and they were. I'm with the president on that. I mean, his Mar-a-Lago thing is ridiculous, but there's no doubt that his tax returns, despite the fact that he promised to release them, despite the fact that every other president released the tax returns, he suffered embarrassment when it showed that he hadn't paid taxes for several years, and he had a right for that not to happen. Now, I want to turn back to the Epstein survivors, because President Trump may have been a little bit embarrassed by the release of those tax returns. How much do you think the claims of these survivors are worth? As the good congressman from Kentucky just pointed out, there were lots of survivors who had decided, for reasons of their own, never to release their names. That determination was represented to people in Congress, and we built it into our federal law that their names could not be released, and yet you published their names, their phone numbers, their addresses, personally identifying information. If Donald Trump can get $10 billion theoretically from the Department of Justice, how much should these people get for a far worse violation of their privacy rights and a far greater danger established to them in their lives?
I want to hear her answer the question.
Do you even know who Chase Mulligan is? You're so obsessed with, you don't, do you?
I'm going to teach you the rules again. You're the Attorney General of the United States. We have rules.
Just deflect.
You're the Attorney General of the United States.
With
The rules.
obsessed with Donald
Another
Trump, your
deflection.
Trump derangement syndrome.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like my time restored. I'd like my time restored.
In your district, and you don't even know about it, about keeping children safe from online predators.
Time belongs to the gentleman from Maryland.
Completely deflected.
Yeah, and I want the whole country to look at this. Because this is the Attorney General of the United States, whose job is law enforcement. We've never had a witness who has misunderstood our rules and been unable to conform his or her conduct to our rules before. We have only 5 minutes. And so we use our time to ask you specific questions.
How long are you giving me to answer?
Excuse me, I'm not yielding to you right now. I'd like that second restored too. So, Ms. Bondi, the way it works is we ask you a question and you answer it. And if you go off on a wild goose chase, another tangent, you start reading statistics or you start talking about stuff going on in our district. And by the way, I invite you to my district. Come to my district, but that's not what we're here to do today. Okay? So, and you do that, then we're allowed to say we reclaim our time. At that point, you have to be quiet. You have no choice. You have to be quiet. So I hope you understand the rule of this board. Now, here's what I want to ask you. You're in law enforcement. We've seen all kinds of evidence of crimes. And when we go over to the Department of Justice for the 4 computers for every member of Congress, we see more evidence of crimes. Will you create a joint task force of the Department of Justice and governors and state attorney generals and district attorneys across the country to investigate the crimes that have taken place against these victims and more than 1,000 like them? The DOJ is not doing its job. Will you create a task force with state and local law enforcement to make that happen?
Delia can respond. She wants to.
Thank you, Chairman. He called Chase Mulligan a wild goose chase and didn't even know who he was. He is a defendant in your own district.
Completely changed the subject again.
Mr. Chairman.
Well, you know what? If he were part of the Epstein investigation, you wouldn't do anything about it.
Online chat rooms and committed sextortion. Yet he didn't even know in your tiny little district who he was.
Mr. Chairman, she's embarrassing you.
He's about to be.
This is your committee, and she is embarrassing
In your tiny little.
Time of the gentleman has expired. I would remind.
Attorney General Bondi, that man works for you now, right?
Who was that, Congressman?
The man in that video, the one who was in the police-worn body cam footage, the one allegedly yelling, "Kill him," at police officers on January 6th. His name is Jared Wise.
He does work for us.
He works for you at the Department of Justice.
He does.
This is an individual whom a federal grand jury indicted for 2 felonies and 4 misdemeanors related to his participation in the attack on January 6th. One of those charges was forcibly assaulting, resisting, opposing, impeding, intimidating, and interfering with police with the intent to commit another felony. This is who you choose as the chief law enforcement officer of the United States of America to hire at the Department of Justice. Someone on video yelling, "Kill him," at police officers, right?
I believe he was pardoned by President Trump.
Oh, he was pardoned. You're right. You're right. Kill him at police officers. And yet you expect hardworking police officers across the country to believe that you take law enforcement seriously. You could imagine the reaction of so many folks across the country hearing the chief law enforcement officer of the United States refuse to even condemn what that individual whom you've now hired did. But in any event, let's talk a little bit about some of the other divisions within the Department of Justice and what's happened over the last year. You're familiar with the Public Integrity section of the DOJ's criminal division. I think it's referred to as PIN. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know which presidential administration under which the PIN was first created?
I can tell you what administration that the weaponization was ended under.
I'll reclaim my time. This wasn't a trick question.
You don't get to
Madam Attorney
reclaim
General.
your time.
Madam Attorney General.
But he didn't answer nothing.
Explain to the witness that he does reclaim his time.
Because I don't answer a question to your satisfaction.
Mr. Chairman.
Madam Attorney General, the time belongs to the gentleman from Colorado.
The president under which PIN was created was Gerald Ford. It was created after Watergate. I'm not asking a question, Madam Attorney General. The administration under which it was created was Gerald Ford. When you first started
This
as the
is
Attorney General of the
crazy,
United
y'all.
States, there were 35 people working in that office. There are now 2 people working in that office because you have gutted it. How many people work for the National Cryptocurrency Enforcement Team in the criminal division today?
Can I answer the question about PIN?
I've asked you a question. How many
You've
people
asked me a
work?
question, but you don't
How
want
many
the answer.
people
I'm
work
not
for the
gonna answer your
National
questions the way you
Cryptocurrency
want.
Enforcement Team? You won't answer how many
I'll
people?
answer PIN.
You.
PIN will not be
you know what?
weaponized.
You know what?
What's funny about this?
is calling the
What's
shots.
funny about this?
You know what? The
She ain't
answer-
answering
I think
nothing.
I understand why the
about
Attorney General
this?
does not want to answer the question. Because you eliminated the National Cryptocurrency Enforcement Team last year. So I understand why you don't want to tell the American people who works there.
Yeah, I
No one
understand
works
why
there
you don't want to
anymore,
talk about
Madam
Mohammed
Attorney
Solomon
General.
in
So,
your district.
In any event,
who
I will
murdered people.
Mr. Chairman, will you stop the clock so his time is not wasted by
I've
the
been
witness?
very generous with allowing extra time when we have these little disputes.
I understand.
You got the time, Mr. Goose?
I might as well ask the chairman these questions.
I'd be happy
because
to answer some of your questions.
What's profound, the questions I've
Profound?
asked,
The crime in your
I've
district.
asked, Mr. Chairman, are not trick questions. They're not gotcha questions. They're actually basic questions about how the Department of Justice functions and the unwillingness of this Attorney General to answer them in good faith. When a member of Congress asks, how many people work at the National Cryptocurrency Enforcement Team, and the Attorney General refuses to answer it, it is not a coincidence. It's because she eliminated the team. Why? Because her boss, the President of the United States, is making money hand over fist, $1.4 billion over the course of the last year through cryptocurrency holdings. I think what is happening at the Department of Justice is a disgrace, Mr. Chairman, and I would urge you to gain control of this hearing. With that, I yield back the balance of my time.
Yeah.
Shout out to everybody in the building, man. Make sure y'all double tapping that screen as things get heated between Pam Bundy and Congress, you know, during her testimony, guys. It got fiery over the Epstein files, right? All right. Now, we heard from the lawmakers and the politicians. Let's hear how the victims felt about what took place with these files, guys. Make sure you're double tapping that screen. Most definitely get those likes up. Subscribe to the channel if you are new, guys. This is everything that's going on right now on the Epstein files. And here is a word from the victims and how they feel.
Files. I interviewed 6 survivors of Epstein's abuse and 2 family members who tell me they feel that the Justice Department is not taking accountability. We've got that conversation here on our NBC News Now special coverage. Thank you all so much for being here. I know you literally have just come over off of Capitol Hill, where the Attorney General had appeared for that hearing in front of the House Judiciary Committee. I want to do just a couple of show of hands moments on how you feel about that, and then I want to talk about your reaction to everything we heard today. So with the show of hands, can you show me your hands if you were satisfied with what you heard from the Attorney General today? Nobody. Show of hands if you are frustrated with what you heard.
Thank you, Jazz.
Very much so.
Very much so. Teresa, tell me more about that.
Well, going into this morning, and much of this process, I have this perspective that you need to give people the opportunity to do what they say they're
We
going to.
18 likes away from 400, guys. Can we get 18 likes? We need 18 people who haven't double tapped their screen yet on their mobile device to do it now. You know what I'm saying? Or click the 3 dots and hit that thumbs up. It helps out the channel, guys. Don't forget to subscribe if you are new, as we listen to what the Epstein survivors have to say about what's playing out right before our eyes, guys.
To do to fulfill their word, put their money where their mouth is, so to speak. And we have yet again seen that go the complete opposite direction of there's no integrity. There was no integrity in that room today. It seemed like, as far when it came to Epstein and Maxwell, you know, there was a lot of expression of other good outcomes on things. And I can agree with a lot of what was said. And there was nothing that gave us any bit of hope of any kind of integrity and doing the right thing when it comes to Epstein Maxwell accountability, further investigation, which she claimed was happening. And we're going to be waiting to see the outcome of that and see if that's an accurate, legitimate statement.
Danny, I see you nodding and shaking your head.
I think there was such a lack of empathy today. There was such a lack of, honestly, humanity today.
They speaking on what they seen from Pam Bundy, guys. You know how she was ducking and dodging those questions a while ago.
Something that, you know, I think all of us felt a little devastated about was that she had 3 opportunities to address survivors. We stood up, and all she had to do was turn around, and she could not even.
That vital moment, y'all, when the Congress lady asked her to apologize to the victims, and she dodged the question, guys. This is how they felt about it.
Turn around and face us. For so many years, and I can't speak for everybody, but for me, I felt like such a ghost walking through Epstein's mansion. I felt like there were so many people who saw me. There were so many people who should have spoken up. And instead, I felt like I was less than nothing. And now to not have AG Bondi turn around and acknowledge us, it is the exact same type of victimization. It's horrible.
Charlene, what did you think of that moment when you all were standing there and she was asked by one of the members of Congress to turn around and address you?
I felt really degraded. I felt that she's not taking at all any accountability. She's not following any kind of transparency. And honestly, the thought that I have is birds of a feather flock together. So I feel like the way that she handled today is often the way that our president or other people have treated us that are really high up. And I felt like she was treating us just like everybody else has in the justice system and beyond.
I was looking at you all. The cameras there had shown a view of you in that moment, on your feet, in front of this hearing room, in front of all of these cameras. And I wonder...
All right, shout out to Michael for that $2. He says he was legend. I don't know who he is. I hope you ain't talking about Epstein, because he was sick. But anyway.
Jess, Liz, all of you, if you can take me, what was going inside in your mind? What was happening in your mind? What were you thinking as that moment was happening?
So one of the things I was thinking in that moment is that it is such a simple act to turn around and say, I apologize for the terrible job our DOJ did in releasing, that is something that is completely inappropriate, to take responsibility for that, for the damage they did to us, not to state it as, yes, we understand damage was done. No, to us. It was such a simple thing. And it's something we teach children, to take accountability, to recognize when you've made a mistake and you just apologize for it. So there wasn't even an adult in the room that could apologize for the damage done to children and girls.
In her opening remarks, the Attorney General said, "I am deeply sorry for what any victim has been through, especially as a result of that monster."
That monster. But so there's the crimes of Jeffrey Epstein, and then there's the crimes of the cover-up. And she's part of that continuing cover-up.
The cover-up.
So she didn't apologize for that.
So some of the survivors feel like it's a cover-up, as well as some of the public, guys. How do you feel? Is it a cover-up, or are they being transparent? What is going on?
But when she said that monster, she said it as if he acted alone.
Yes.
And Epstein was absolutely a monster, but he didn't act alone. And I think that we now have more evidence of that from what we've seen in the files. And what is really difficult for me to wrap my head around is I met Epstein Maxwell when I was 21.
Man, prayers for these survivors, guys. Prayers for the survivors.
I'm 53 now. And I was just raised differently. I was raised to respect our government. I was raised to be able to speak to people of different political parties. And maybe I don't always agree with them, but their insights help me shape my opinions. And I just don't see that happening. And that's what I grew up in. That's the America that I grew up in. And for us to now feel like the Department of Justice, which is in charge of seeking justice for all Americans who are victims of crime, they've just completely let us down. And so to hear her say, if you have been a victim of crime, we want you to call the FBI. I called the FBI. And in the release of files, my intake report was released twice. Once with my part of my address, and once where my name was unredacted several times, including in a sentence that said, Stein was a victim of Epstein and Maxwell in the mid-90s. So, I find it really difficult to have any faith when we are constantly, being manipulated and downplayed by our government. We've heard several times our government say, we're moving on from this. And that just enrages me.
Yeah.
This has been 3 decades of my life. We'd all love to move on with this. But how do you move on if you don't have justice? And the Department of Justice's job is to seek justice. And they, for some reason, don't feel like they have to. And that's just incomprehensible.
You and I have talked before. I see a lot of emotion in your face.
Yeah.
This is all coming back up again for you.
Survivors of sexual assault, we are chastised so frequently. Why didn't you tell? Why didn't you fight back? All of these questions. And here we're seeing survivors have been telling, and they have been speaking out, starting 3 decades ago when Maria Farmer first reported this crime to the FBI. And over and over and over and over again, different branches of our Justice Department and, law enforcement that should have protected us haven't. It's like this massive institutional failure that we don't want to address. And it's not just us anymore. It's not just about the Epstein case. It's about survivors everywhere. They're watching us, victims of crime everywhere. This is something that people already don't talk about, and that's why it persists. And so now we're going to expect victims who are watching us be treated this way. We're going to expect them to talk about what's happened to them. That's a hard ask.
Yeah.
But we have a chance to change the conversation and change the narrative and say, you know what, these things happen because we don't talk about them. And that's why we need to, no matter how hard it is. We need to sit with how uncomfortable this is as a nation.
Yes.
Because it's the only way to get past it.
Yes.
Maria, did you feel that discomfort in the room today?
I got to be honest with you. It was definitely a lot of discomfort, but I think
this has to be hard to speak on, guys, Prayers once again for these survivors, man. Epstein survivors speaking out about how they feel, about what happened with Pam Bundy and the handling of these Epstein files, guys. Prayers for these ladies.
I don't know if I should say, I was a little embarrassed to see that she couldn't say sorry to us, because she sat there in the beginning, she said sorry for what Jeffrey Epstein did to us, but yet she couldn't apologize what she did to us, what her department did to us, right? It's like you had one job, was to redact our names, to respect our privacy, but yet you carefully took the time to redact all these powerful rich men. So, it's like, is it your department that can't keep up with, are you guys being sloppy? What's going on here? It's what we wonder every day. Where did it go wrong? And then I think we all realize now, oh, you guys really wanted to silence us. And you thought that you could scare us by putting our names out there.
So she basically saying she feels like the government did it on purpose. Like with Trump name appearing so many times, putting out Elon Musk's name, Bill Gates' name, all these other people names, putting Bill Clinton out there, that they were trying to get some form of get back from the survivors by putting their names out there. It's basically what she's saying. Y'all put our names out there, trying to scare us. That's to think that they did it on purpose.
And to be honest with you, we've
crazy.
been through worse. This is nothing for us. If anything, this encourages us.
Y'all trying to embarrass us, we gonna embarrass y'all type situation.
So we'd like to set the record here. If there are more files to be released, which we hope that these files that are released, they need to be, the men that are, the perpetrators that we did know
But
about.
they are naming names. Remember, we just looked at 2 reports. We heard from Congress and we heard from Congress and from these ladies that there were forms that were put out that still had the names of some of the victims. They were supposed to be, I guess, redacting those names because some of them did not want to be known. But they put some of the ones that did not want to be known out there as well. So basically they're saying it's like you trying to embarrass us situation, we'll embarrass you, is what they saying that Pam Bundy them is doing. How y'all feel about it?
And that are out there now, they need to be investigated, and we cannot fail to do that as as the United States of America. We have other countries that are taking action in this, and we are doing absolutely nothing, and it is infuriating.
I want to come back to this. Oh, go ahead, Danny.
I do want to say something she did not say much today. I mean, she really evaded every question. She knew how to evade and was just using statistics. I mean, any game that she could play, she was playing. But the one thing that she did say is that there are investigations.
Well, so that's what I want to get into, because some of these prominent individuals, the ones that have been out there, officials have not publicly accused them of wrongdoing related to Epstein, but the Attorney General did say today, when pressed about the potential for new prosecutions, she says there are pending investigations.
Who, what, where, why, when? We don't have any information, and I would think that they would come to us to get that information.
Yeah, we still haven't talked yet. We haven't even.
Nobody's talked to the DOJ.
Nobody's talked to any of us.
Show of hands, has anybody had any communication with the DOJ over the course of the last, let's say, 6 months? Do you want to have that communication?
Yes. We've all asked for it.
Does it mean we feel safe?
Yeah.
Does it mean that we think she's going to listen? No. But we deserve the chance as citizens of this country.
She also said, she was talking about anybody can go to the FBI. Any survivor right now can go to the FBI. And then we saw 302s that are full pages of black that even our congressional leaders can't get access to. So we've gone to the FBI. We've done the legwork. We've done everything we know how to do. And then to gaslight the American people and stand up there and say, well, they need to come over. They need to come talk to us. It's like, I don't know what else we have to do. We're here at the hearing. We are doing everything we possibly can. So please tell us what else we need to do.
Yeah. Somebody who I imagine all of you are thinking about, and I'm sure nobody more than the two of you, is Virginia Roberts Giuffre. who has been in all of our conversations, many of our.
If you haven't liked the video yet, guys, double tap that screen if you're on a mobile device or click the 3 dots in the right-hand corner. Hit that thumbs up, man. And remember to subscribe to the channel, man. Subscribe, y'all. This is the victims of Epstein speaking out on the actions of Pam Bundy and the handling of the Epstein files.
Conversations, the person who you all have said brought together the people she called her survivor sisters. And I wonder, Sky and Amanda, how did you think of Virginia today? In that room, sitting there, I was watching both of you during some of these interactions with the Attorney General. Tell me what was going through your mind.
I was infuriated for her. How much more of a cost do survivors need to pay? Virginia paid the ultimate price for her trauma and the consistent failure of every single system she's been a part of, even in the one in Australia. She was failed over and over and over again.
So the Dufresne lady is the survivor that they say unalived herself, that other people feel like that's not what happened. Somebody did that to her.
And she'd proven herself in court to be a truth teller. And when that congressman put up a picture of former Prince Andrew and Pam Bundy refused to acknowledge, and that was the thing about it. Every time there was a question about Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, or perpetrators, the contempt you almost see rise in her body, her whole face. I mean, I purposefully turned my body that way and stared at her to see, like, will you turn around and in one moment acknowledge and look at us, okay? Because Virginia was trashed for her allegations. I mean, ripped apart for years. She was a lone survivor. She kept pushing and kept pushing. And in those files, Ghislaine Maxwell gave her her own vindication.
Yep.
We know Virginia named over 40 names in sealed depositions and open depositions. We know a minimum she has named. And yet we still refuse to see them acknowledge or investigate any of those people. And Virginia has proven herself in court over and over and over again. And to sit there again and have this contempt for the questions when the Congress people, I said in my speech today, we're not here for theatrics. And she's like, oh, the theater. And I'm like, yes, you're the main character in this.
The circus act.
Yes.
Yeah. She was a comedian today.
Well said. Yes.
Everyone was laughing at her.
It was all strategic deflection all day long.
One of the things that she said in response to some of these questions was, and I'm paraphrasing here, but she said, why didn't you ask this of Merrick Garland, obviously the former Attorney General? She referenced other administrations past. How did you hear that?
Nobody's saying that the other administration handled it correctly. We're not standing here saying that this other administration, could have taken other actions. We're saying, yes, they could have, but this is in your hands now. This is in your hands, and you have an opportunity to step forward and do the right thing. And, it was just, God.
If I'm correct, this is Dufresne's brother, guys, who was left to mourn his sister. After her passing, guys. Some say she did it to herself. Some say somebody else did it to her because she was the one that was naming names, guys. Like, I see a lot of y'all down there saying, well, name names. Well, she was one of the ones that was naming names, and look what happened to her. I'm just saying.
It continued, Danny, you put it perfectly, like the gaslighting. Anytime they would bring up anything relative to Epstein or Ghislaine Maxwell, she would say, well, because in your district, you don't want to talk about this person. It's like, you have survivors right behind you. She's like, any survivor can come forward and talk to us. Well, first, you don't really have an open door policy. Let's put it that way. Okay. And I think the second part to it is that they already have Virginia named more than 40 names. They're in those files. Why aren't we just going back to those? There's more than enough evidence to present forward. And now she's contradicting herself, specifically to Todd Blanche, because he's saying there's no investigations that are going to be happening. And now she's saying there's investigations. So which one is it? Are you doing investigations or are you not? Like, we need real answers. And I hope that our I hope the American people can continue to stand behind us. I hope that they can demand justice, because realistically, this justice needs to happen. But if we need to go the social route too, we should be putting these names up. What boards are they on? What companies do they own? Like, we shouldn't be supporting any of those, and we should go after our social justice and continue to pursue this justice as well.
One of the things the Attorney General also said was that at one point, when asked about the redactions and acknowledging the errors that were made, both over-redacting and under-redacting, she said that the Department of Justice did the best they could, given the time constraints of the Epstein Transparency Act. Do you believe they did the best they could?
That was just another statement that
I take it that they don't believe they did the best they could. I'm just saying.
throughout the entire day, that was something that was said several times. I noticed by several different congressmen and women, because they want us and the American public to feel that because they were rushed, because they had these time constraints, that this is then the reason why the redactions were not properly made when they should have been guaranteed to be made, and then protected the predators and perpetrators, which should never have happened. So that was just yet again another example of them trying to deflect their responsibility and almost trying to transfer all that shame and accountability to the American public, wanting to push the vote through, and even us survivors for wanting to see the Epstein Transparency Act signed.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Form of victim blaming.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's a victim list that was released. It's called Victim List. Okay.
Yeah.
So, and it had a list of victims.
It was shown, I think, a couple of times.
One was redacted.
Thank you.
That makes no sense. This is a list of victims. That's intentional.
One of the things I heard from several of you as the process of advocating for the Epstein Transparency Act was happening was that you felt like, given the bipartisan support from both sides of the aisle, that this was not a political issue.
Yeah.
And I wonder, sitting here today, after hearing what you heard from that hearing with the Attorney General, do you still think that? Do you still think this is not a political issue?
I think the GOP is scared. I think that there's some fear there, because we have amazing meetings with congressional leaders. We are in meetings all the time asking for their support, and we've actually like some of the best meetings and really compassionate people. And then when it comes time
with Republicans and Democrats,
yes. But I want to speak to the Democrats or to the Republicans just for a moment, because in those Republican meetings, we have these beautiful moments with them, and then they're not showing up to stand with us. Like this morning, we had the press conference, and Nancy Mace was the only Republican who showed up, and that was a real shame. We had a great meeting yesterday.
Jerry White says he doesn't believe a word these people say. Wow. I believe him.
With the head of the
I think they telling the truth.
The Republican Women's Caucus, and she was incredible. And we had this beautiful conversation, and we really had hoped that she would invite more Republicans to stand with us, because again, like, I don't know how many times, like, I'm sure we're all so tired of saying that it's not political for us, right? It is a human issue. We are human beings. We just want to stand together. We just need to make this about survivors as a whole. It's not about Epstein and Maxwell. It's about if you've ever had any sort of sexual assault or any sort of abuse, which 1 in 4 women, and we're not even talking about the men in this country, have experienced this. So it's a huge issue that's so much bigger than this. And all we're asking for is bipartisan support. We've seen people cross the aisle before. The Transparency Act was a beautiful display of that. There was this moment, and I'm sure you guys remember it, Marjorie Taylor Greene sitting with Melanie Stansbury, and they sat there together and watched those votes come in. And it was like, thank you. That is what we're talking about.
Marjorie, she has since left, from Congress. She quit. You know what I'm saying? Thank you. Yeah, she stepped down. She was saying that she would get out there and name names. And then she got out of Congress. Just saying, man, it's crazy.
Powerful women coming together and just being here to support other women. And we're just not seeing that.
Let me talk about somebody who currently is in prison, and that is Ghislaine Maxwell. And some of what we heard today and some of what we heard this week from Ghislaine Maxwell. Teresa, I'm struck. I know you said recently that she was in what you described as a prison spa, essentially, a reference to her transfer to a lower security prison camp.
Yes.
The Attorney General referred questions on that to the Bureau of Prisons. And I wonder, as you sit here today, knowing that Ghislaine Maxwell is where she is, what would you say to the Attorney General to her staff at the Bureau of Prisons, if you could tell them something about that.
Well, that's just a soundbite to say, yet again, another deflection to the Bureau of Prisons, that they had no hand in having her transferred from Florida to from a maximum security to Texas.
So to you, this is an accountability issue. Is that what you're saying?
For her to say, yes, for her to say she didn't know is inherently false. I'm sorry. They know what's happening. They knew it was happening ahead of time. They didn't find out like we found out through the media. They knew it was probably
Ghislaine most definitely knew what was going on.
Whatever they thought they were going to get out of Ghislaine Maxwell, a known perjurer, I'm not sure, but they knew ahead of time and they sent her there. And it's one of, I think, the most abhorrent instances of this entire post-conviction of Maxwell case.
Yep. I call it the second sweetheart deal in this case. It's the second sweetheart deal because she is getting a little pat on the wrist and a puppy, right? And Attorney General Bondi would not answer the question, who signed off on this? Who is the person responsible?
So they didn't like that Ghislaine got moved to a less secure prison, than the one she was already in. It's a lot of people that's saying she need to go back to the maximum lockup. Who's responsible for getting her such cozy conditions? One of the survivors say. Yeah, man, that's crazy. But it's a lot of people that feel like Ghislaine might be working with Trump right now, too, in order to try to get out of jail. What y'all think about that?
I have no idea. Earlier this week on Capitol Hill, we saw Ghislaine Maxwell deposed virtually from prison, and she repeatedly invoked her Fifth Amendment.
She ain't say nothing.
Her lawyer said that she is, and I'm going to quote him here, that she is prepared to speak fully and honestly if President Donald Trump were to grant her clemency. Show of hands here. Do you think President Trump should grant her clemency in order for her to speak, as her lawyer says, fully and honestly to investigators? Would you like to see President Trump rule out the possibility of any clemency for Ghislaine Maxwell?
Yes.
Show of hands on that?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Tell me about that.
She used that as a bargaining tool. She's staying silent to try to get something. Again, she's trying to manipulate the system and put out things that gaslight us, manipulate us. It's atrocious. This woman is
speaking on Ghislaine Maxwell
than Jeffrey Epstein. We trusted her because she's a woman. So it was easier for her to bring us into his orbit. And then she's also in the orbit. So to give her clemency is atrocious. It makes no sense. And she's just trying to bargain her way out.
Self-serving.
Yes, go ahead. Liz, I'm sorry. I'm looking.
It's really concerning to me that we continue to try to give her a platform to come forward and talk about what happened when we have already seen her perjure herself in depositions, lie in her conversation with Todd Blanche, and yet, there's this expectation that she's going to come forward.
Do y'all think Miss Maxwell would get out of jail, guys? Y'all think that's actually going to happen? Her get out early? She's supposed to be serving 20 years. You think the Trump administration going to let her out early? Let me know what you think in the comments.
And give all of the keys to what happened here. Why aren't they talking to the victims of the crimes, the people that experienced these crimes? Why are they not talking to us? We know what happened, and we're telling the truth. And it's really just infuriating to kind of have this constant back and forth with Maxwell. I think that we need to stop giving her a platform.
Ghislaine Maxwell is never going to say anything that holds any water. So we just need to let the air out and just let her go.
She needs to go back where she belongs.
Yes.
She needs to. I told you.
About our justice
She
system.
needs to go back where she belongs. I just told y'all about that, didn't I? I told y'all that's how they felt.
And our legal system, that she even has an opportunity to even flirt with clemency or freedom. It is a stain globally, and it sets a standard. We are supposed to be setting the standard for justice and how we treat children and victims in our system. And should she be granted any more clemency and not put back where she belongs, it's a failure and it is a stain on us. And everywhere in the world is looking at us to do the right thing here.
So what would your message be to the White House on this? Because to this point, that is on the table. That is not a possibility. The possibility of pardon that the president could give, that has not been ruled out.
Yeah. Put her back where she belongs and close the door.
Yes. And not with her. Put her back in maximum security, not where
Give her
she
more
is.
time. Yeah. Give her more time.
Take away the puppy.
And the cell phones.
One of the things that you reference, Amanda, and I'll ask you and Sky this too, the sort of international, the global spotlight that is on this. And we've seen, you look over in the UK, we've already seen multiple people in the British government resign, come under scrutiny for their relationships with Epstein. And I wonder what you make of the way that the landscape is here in the United States related to high profile people and their ties to Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah. I want to, just real quick, I want to reverse back for a second on Ghislaine, because Ghislaine is part of this international sex trafficking ring. Something that Virginia said, and it always sticks with me, is that Epstein was Pinocchio and she was Geppetto. She was feeding him basically, and she was an active participant. She was often worse than Jeffrey Epstein. And the reason I say that is to go, and I'll go back to the UK here, is that they are taking more action there than we are here in the United States.
Yeah, they are, man. You know, what's his name? Prince, which Prince was it? Andrews lost his position. You know, they most definitely taking this serious across seas, more serious than America in some instances, guys.
To be quite honest with you, the king, I'd commend him. I truly do.
Yep.
I think it's very difficult. He's basically going up against his own brother. I mean that to say that these people, if they were able to commit the most heinous crime out there, what else could they have committed? Why aren't we following the money? Why aren't we taking more action? We should be opening the investigation.
We got James in the UK. He say he over there, and they ain't doing nothing. That's what he said. He said he from the United Kingdom, and they ain't doing crap. Okay, I bet.
And we should be subpoenaing their
that's what
flight records. They should be subpoenaing their bank account records and start combing through those. And let's see what's there. Because I think if you follow the money trail, you're going to find some other things that they were much capable of if they were capable of doing these other things.
What are we doing as Americans? Because we need to take this a little bit more serious. Somebody has done this to a person who is no longer here with us. Right? There is proof. And it only means what? He's going to wake up one day. And then I mean to this for all the perpetrators that have come out and, you know, and like, you know, Sky said, we need to follow the money. We need to get their bank accounts. We need to get their flight logs. Why? Because us and these other survivors that are Jane Does are not the only ones. There are many more out there that we do not know about. And I got to be honest with you, these perpetrators don't wake up one day and they're like, okay, well, I'm going to stop being, I'm going to stop liking children. I'm going to stop being a rapist. It does not work like that. It does not work like that. It's the same way when we talk about Ghislaine. When she walks away 20 years from now, if she's still alive, what do we think she's going to do? Become a teacher?
Yeah.
Maybe, you know what? Maybe her and Penn Bondi will be partners. No, it's like, guys, these people are not going to stop. We need to stop them. So I just wonder, will the DOJ or who will start the investigation? And like Sky said, we need to pull out these records and find out more.
I want to ask you, as we're getting close to the end of our time here together, about what's next. But before I do, I just want to go back as we talk about now former Prince Andrew. There was that now infamous photograph of Virginia that was decried as potentially doctored. Years ago, it was described by Ghislaine Maxwell herself as fake at one point. But now we've seen in this Epstein file release an email in which she appears to refer to this photograph as legitimate here. A photograph that I know, and we've talked about, tormented your family for some time.
What a day of vindication. I mean, I don't know how many times I have to say how much of a truth teller she's been, and the consistency in her story has never changed. And when you go through these files and you hear the testimony of Andrew, you hear the testimony of Ghislaine, the story is always changing. Oh, maybe it was a fake. Oh, I don't recall taking that photo or being there. And then Ghislaine verifies in the email, yeah, oh yes, I did in fact introduce her to Andrew. And so again, you're just seeing this same repetition, the lies, and the one person, and it always pulls me back to what she says, especially when it comes to Andrew, is he knows what happened, I know what happened, and only one of us is telling the truth here, and I know that's me. That is the kind of conviction that she powered through this with the truth and conviction in her story. Before we end this, I want to say, yesterday we got to announce Virginia's law. And it was a dream of hers to reform the statute of limitations. And we're here, we're seeing that. Less than a year of her passing. And I want to end that on a good note, because I think the American people need to see that with all this grief and all this pain, like, real change can happen. We have the power to do that. And so we're going to continuously fight, because Virginia deserves it. They deserve it. And every single survivor who has been silenced deserve it. So we can't wait to see Virginia's law pass.
Her dream was to eliminate the statute of limitations to affect real change on a global and on a national level. I mean, this was to protect her survivor sisters. This is to protect future survivors and our next generation. We get to go home to our daughters and our children and say, hey, we're fighting the bad guys. We're doing it and eliminating this. In some states, the statute of limitations is as little as 3 years. It takes survivors, it takes victims into their 30s and 40s, and when they're moms and they finally get this power to come forward so bravely, it takes a long time. And the statute of limitations needs to be completely eliminated to give survivors grace. In Virginia, that was her dream. And I truly hope that can be, again, this isn't a political issue anymore. This is on a human level. I hope Republicans and Democrats and all alike, we will talk to you. We will come. Tell me the date, time, and I will be there. And we can have a conversation about this and why it's so important. Come see us face to face. This is something that we can do to set a new standard moving forward, so we can teach our generation and the next generation,
All of you have shown up. All of you have shown up again here today. And so as we close here, let me ask you this. Sitting in that room, being at that hearing, with a show of hands, do you trust the Department of Justice to pursue justice now for you? None of you.
I think they're going to have to learn what that is first.
Nobody raised their
So what do you want
hand.
to see next?
Brandy's meant to justice.
I want to just see women be believed. You use that word torment, and I think about Virginia, but I think about Maria Farmer, and that, we have that 1996, the first half of the report. I don't know that anybody's found the second half of that report yet. And so we owe it to the survivors who came before us. We owe it to the girls and young folks in this country of the future. Changing statute is a huge leap forward, but also believing women first and foremost, or just believing anybody who is telling you that abuse has occurred, and giving people a safer space to come forward that is more trauma informed, is so crucial here.
Yeah.
Thank you all so much for being with us. Thank you for sharing your perspective on everything that has unfolded over on Capitol Hill. And
All right, so we heard from the survivors as well as Congress and Pam Bundy, right? When it comes to these Epstein files, they're not seeing eye to eye. This is a crazy situation. A lot of people feel like it's a cover-up, and as they keep on bringing details to the board and people keep on speaking, we'll keep on covering. But we got to move on to the next situation, y'all. Let's talk about Nancy Guthrie, guys. She's been missing for 11 days now, or 12 days. And her situation is crazy. Some camera footage came out, showing the suspect, right? And then they got a brand new ransom note. Yeah, it's a ransom note involved in all this when it comes to Miss Nancy Guthrie, guys. Some people, whoever it was that kidnapped her, wants millions of dollars worth of Bitcoins and cryptocurrency, guys. Well, today, they got another ransom note because the time had already expired. They got another ransom note You know, basically saying that they'll tell them who took Nancy for some more Bitcoins, you know, cryptocurrency. They trying to get paid either way. Somebody wrote them a note that said, I know the person that took Nancy. And for me to tell y'all, I'm going to need some cryptocurrency. I'm just saying, this case get crazier about a second, guys. Crazier about a second.
The kidnapper is. And then this individual demanded one Guthrie investigation. Obviously, he's been breaking news from the start and received the initial ransom note for Guthrie. TMZ is now reporting they've received a new note today from someone who said they are not the kidnapper, but they know who the kidnapper is.
What?
And then this individual demanded one Bitcoin, which is currently valued about $67,000.
So for $67,000, they're willing to give up the person who took Nancy, guys. That's the most recent news. Yeah, they want Bitcoins. Yeah, they'll tell them who it is for one Bitcoin, which is worth $67,000.
For the information about the kidnapper. So TMZ founder Harvey Levin is now out front. So Harvey, okay, you got a lot of new information here, but I guess let's just start with this note that you've received. You said they've got a Bitcoin address in there, different than
I'm just
original
saying,
note, obviously, because this person's saying they're a different person. You verified that note. So what can you tell us? Has any payments, activity on this new address, and what about this letter?
We haven't seen any. The letter essentially says, I've tried to get in touch with Savannah's brother and sister to no avail. And they sent it to us then, and they said, if they want to get the name of the individual who is involved in this kidnapping, send the Bitcoin, give us a Bitcoin through this address. And they say time is more than relevant. That's the way it ends. Time is more than relevant. We have sent this on to the FBI and to the Sheriff's Department, and that's all we have heard.
What do y'all think about this new information, guys? This new note. Man, they ransomed her at first to get money, you know, basically to give her back. Now somebody is ransoming money to tell who took her. This is better than a Lifetime movie.
You know, I was thinking about this. Doing it this way, I'm not sure is a crime. Now, if this is a ruse and they are just trying to get money without having information, then it's a crime. But I'm not sure the letter itself is a crime. What they're saying is, I'm willing to give you information, but I want a Bitcoin. I'm not sure that's a crime.
I mean, so when you look at a letter like this, I mean, obviously you could think of it as a ruse. This is a person trying to jump on this and get $67,000 and then give you nothing. I mean, obviously we all can see that that's possible. But as you look at it, is there anything that stands out to you to suggest that this person does know who the kidnapper is or doesn't know?
No, honestly, no. The FBI certainly wanted it, as did the Sheriff's Department. And that's about all I can tell you about it, Aaron.
All right. So I'm also curious, Harvey, how you think about it this way. I mean, I was saying the rough value of a Bitcoin, right, is $67,000. Now, the FBI has a reward of $50,000 for information, which would ostensibly be much more difficult to collect, obviously. But I guess if whoever sent this note does know who the kidnapper is, you know, how do you kind of think through the logic here as to why they do this to try to get the 67 as opposed to, you know, calling the FBI and doing the right thing and getting 50?
Because there have been cases in the past, I think we've all covered them, Aaron, where the reward money is not given to somebody.
Could this be just somebody trying to get some bread that don't know nothing? Or could this be like the kidnappers still trying to get a form of money? I don't know, man. This crazy. But they want Bitcoins and crypto.
Would think at first blush is the person who helped solve the crime. We've seen that before. So this is, I guess you would say, a bird in the hand.
Right. I'm just thinking, you know, obviously very different circumstances, but, you know, the comment made by the White House about paying out on Maduro, right, and that they would avoid paying that out. All right. So, you know, last night we were talking about the payment, right? And you had said that there was a payment to the Bitcoin account in the original ransom letter, which you received, right? And then that payment came, and then Fast and Furious, right? They took this individual in who it turned out was not related to this, and that was wrong. But that is Fast and Furious what led to that. But nonetheless, the money had gone into that Bitcoin account that you had in that letter. Have you seen anything else going on with that account?
No, but there was just a boatload of information on social media last night that 15 minutes or so after we saw activity in that account, there was another Bitcoin account that somebody found where he said that somebody deposited $6 million. And a lot of people were speculating that the $6 million was actually the ransom money. And that is the correct amount. So we did some checking with law enforcement today, and we can tell you that $6 million is unrelated to the Nancy Guthrie case.
So unrelated, even though the amount is $6 million, that it's unrelated?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. All right. So that's obviously very significant. Now, also, Harvey, you've been talking to your sources, I know, about...
Hold on, wait. So never mind.
What anybody watching has seen or had conversations about, which is a lot of theories and rumors that are out there about what happened here, including things like the car near Nancy Guthrie's home that was towed away by authorities, Nancy Guthrie's family members. What are they telling you?
I spent some time on the phone today on this with law enforcement. And what I can tell you is they have come up with goose eggs. They have looked for 10 days to find surveillance video or something meaningful to help them figure out what car this person used to get there and to escape. And they have not found it yet, not for lack of trying, and they're still looking. But so far, they are stymied. That was a little bit surprising to me, but they have hit a series of dead ends.
No, which is
There's something fishy about this whole situation, man. 2026, they still kidnapping people, and we can't find them.
Incredible to think about it. You also have, and this is interesting, Harvey, because we look at the backpack and, the reporting tonight, the New York Post got a picture of FBI agents picking up that glove about a mile from Nancy Guthrie's home that may or may not be related to the glove that we all saw in the doorbell cam footage. But you've been trying to figure out who made the glove, the backpack, the gun, the holster, all of it, right? Because all of this could say a lot.
That's the steals of the perpetrator, guys. This is the video. This is like screenshots from the video that they recovered from her home, guys. This is crazy. It's like a movie.
Person was wearing and where they got it from. So what are you finding on this?
Here's what I'm finding. It just seemed obvious to me that what they were going to do, what law enforcement was going to do, is they were going to track down, who bought some of these things from a store in the Tucson area, because they do believe this person is from that area, or Amazon or something like that. So I have confirmed with law enforcement that is exactly what they're doing. And what I'm told, and I'm going to have to refer to my notes, that the three items they were particularly interested in were the backpack, the gloves, and the gun. So let me talk about the backpack, because what we found this morning was there were reflective pieces on this backpack, and we matched them, we believed, to this Walmart Ozark Trail Hiker backpack, and they have the same reflective marks on them. And just a little bit ago, KOLD said that law enforcement told them that is indeed the backpack for this Walmart Ozark Trail Hiker backpack. So, that's something that would be relevant, certainly, to police, to the FBI, to figure out, did somebody buy that, in the last few days? Now, it could have been something somebody had for a long time.
So it's a backpack Ozark backpack from Walmart, guys. They believe this backpack came from Walmart.
I think more interesting, Aaron, is the gun. because if you look at that gun, it seems like there is a polyester holster on it. Now, I don't know that much about firearms, but we've done some digging. And what we're told is that type of holster typically carries a revolver. And in this case, it was a semi-automatic handgun. So what occurred to us is that if somebody showed up with an odd sort of weapon in that type of holster, that might have been noticed by somebody, say at a gun range. So we've been calling around gun ranges to find out if they saw anybody with that type of holster, just because it was a little bit odd. We had no luck, but I know authorities are looking at just that. So these three things, the backpack, the gloves, and the gun, are that they're particularly interested in. And again, you know, if somebody goes into a Home Depot, say, and they buy one of these items, even if they pay cash, they have records of who bought, of when it was purchased. And then you look at the surveillance video and you say who picked it off the shelf and took it to the cash register. And that's the way a lot of crimes are solved. And I know that's one of the things law enforcement is trying to do right now.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously, as you said, you don't know when they bought the backpack, but obviously Walmart will cooperate, right? I mean, they can see every single one of those Ozark Trailblazer backpacks when they were bought and where they were bought. You know, I mean, one of these things could end up being very significant. We don't know. All right, and Harvey, just one quick thing, just to triple check here. The account last night that the money was wired into, the original one, you haven't seen anything new in that one, right?
No, same amount.
Yeah, all right. All right, well, Harvey, thanks so much. It is always great to talk to you, and a lot of new details there. Thanks.
All right, so that was one of the big developments that went on. They basically, you know, got a new note from somebody that's won one Bitcoin that's worth $67,000, guys. I mean, Tyler Perry couldn't write this better. Did they say what happened to the backpack? Or as in what one screen he did not have it on. No, they didn't say what happened to the backpack. They think the perp still has the backpack, but they think they found one of the gloves about a mile away from the scene. All right, so when it comes to this whole thing, I got to get all the way caught up. I know y'all want to be all the way caught up. You know, let's go over here to somebody that's actually covering this as well. You know, Nancy Grace, guys. She most definitely broke it all the way down. You know, most definitely double tap that screen, get those likes up, guys. If you're enjoying the show, double tap your screen if you're on a mobile device, or click those three dots, hit that thumbs up, man. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're new. This is Nancy Grace on a lot of the breaking developments in the Nancy Guthrie situation, guys.
Missing day 11. As we go to air right now, it's catch and release. All of our hopes dashed last night when we learned a guy has been taken in for detainment. In the Nancy Guthrie case, we learned that the hostage unit is on standby less than a mile away. That means the hostage is nearby, right? For our hopes to be dashed when we wake up this morning and find out that guy was released. He allegedly had nothing to do with Nancy Guthrie's disappearance.
Wow, so they picked up somebody and released them.
Also, as we go to air right now, another missive has been received by TMZ, 30 Mile Zone. This time, the missive isn't the rat. They want to rat out the rat.
The new note.
They
that I just told y'all and
they
showed y'all.
can give the name of the perp for 1 Bitcoin to a Bitcoin wallet. What is the Bitcoin worth? $66,000.
66.
Also at this hour, we learned that the FBI is combing the roadside, and they are in 3 locations. Campbell, they are in They are near Cinnalo, Tulsa, Northridge, Estrada. Those 4 places, not 3, 4. All the Catalina foothills, and they are looking along the roadside. Why? Was something tossed out of a car? A cell phone? A camera? that camera that was taken off Nancy Guthrie's front porch? What are they looking for? In addition to combing the Catalina foothills near the roadside, the FBI has launched a new search near Nancy Guthrie's home in the Catalina foothills north of Tucson. Good evening. I'm Nancy Grace. This is Crime Stories. I want to thank you for being
Are in the
now in the foothills of Catalina first. Then we'll go through what happened last night. I've seen video footage of the FBI and I believe local law enforcement elsewhere combing the roadsides. Where are they?
They are in the Catalina foothills just north of Tucson, Nancy. And by the way, they're not just in one location. They have spread hundreds, plural, hundreds of FBI and sheriff's deputies are all over the area.
Thank you, Gillian, for gifting that membership. If you received that, make sure you thank Gillian because she did not have to do it, guys. All right, so this is everything on this Nancy Guthrie situation, guys.
Searching roads, back roads, and they're not isolated to one specific area. They're covering all of it, and they're looking specifically for evidence that could have been tossed from a vehicle going down the road, maybe a road that doesn't get a lot of traffic in the foothills. And they are looking, they're going, you know what? There's so many people out there. They're asking anybody driving in those areas to be extra cautious. They're even warning media. I say it's the FBI. The FBI Phoenix office has taken to X to point out there are so many officials that are actually searching this area. Be careful. Get out of the way. They're on foot looking for evidence, Nancy.
Josh Colesrud joining us from this jurisdiction in Arizona, veteran criminal defense attorney, former federal prosecutor, and founder of the Colesrud Law Offices. Josh, exactly where would the Catalina foothills be for those that are not familiar with Arizona?
Yeah, the Catalina foothills are just outside of Tucson. It's an affluent area. You know, I'm from Phoenix. We kind of look at the Catalina foothills as the Scottsdale of the Tucson area. It's very nice in a fairly large retirement community.
Guys, you are seeing the searches now. The guys walking along the side of the road. This is from our friends.
So they caught somebody and let them go, guys.
At Fox News. And as Dave Mack said, we're showing you just these two guys, but it's all along. Let's go back and see that video again. It's all along the roadways. So what are they looking for? Brian Fitzgibbons is joining us, Director of Operations, USPA, Nationwide Security. Their specialty, locating missing people at USPAsecurity.com. Brian, I think they're looking for something thrown out of a window. And is this desperate? Maybe. Or maybe they got a tip. The number of tips has swollen. There's a surge of tips after Savannah Guthrie's last plea for the public's help.
I think it said she was either like 84 or 87 years old, guys. Kidnapped out of home in 2026. It's a lot of people that feel like the son-in-law may be responsible for this.
Did somebody call in and say, hey, I saw a guy throw what looked to be a cell phone out of a car on that night? But what could they be looking for, Brian? And what
video of the suspect right here, guys. This is some of the video that they were able to get from the ring cam when he was lurking outside.
Does this mean that they're literally beating the bushes?
Yeah, bingo. There are two reasons that law enforcement would be out there. And the first one, you've highlighted both of them. The first one is, hey, they got a tip. Someone in Tucson said, hey, I saw a suspicious vehicle parked alongside of the road. Maybe there was a swap that took place. A second vehicle came in. I saw something, and we want to go inspect that area. And law enforcement's out there following up on that tip. The second reason is exactly what you said. Very often in criminal activity, they're going to dump, regardless of what crime it is, they're going to dump that clothing or disguise so it's not in a vehicle.
Prayers for Nancy, y'all. Prayers for Nancy, man. That she's still alive and okay, man, because this is crazy. Prayers for Nancy Guthrie and her family, guys. Wow. In 2026, people can still get kidnapped and disappear without a trace.
Vehicle with them. So there's a very good chance that this is law enforcement doing exactly what they told us they're doing, which is all the blocking and tackling to do this the right way. And that's going to include covering those major roadways, avenues of egress away from Miss Guthrie's house to see if there's anything discarded along the road that now matches that video we had from the crime scene.
And Brian Fitzgibbons, you and I covered and investigated ourselves the Delphi double murders of Abby and Libby. And if you will recall, it came out in court and it was really heartbreaking.
Thank you.
That a tip had been taken down at the beginning of the investigation. And that tip had been translated incorrectly. And I believe that they reversed
Thank you,
Richard
Miss
Allen.
Faye. So is it wrote down in a foreign language or something to where they had to decipher a code or something like that? Like, because they said that something was wrote down wrong, like translated wrong. So I'm wondering, was the note wrote in a foreign language or something?
Or they reversed the name of the street. So all of this time,
Thank you
when
guys
people
for the
were
gifts.
searching and so much was happening trying to solve the case, it was right under their noses. But the tip got screwed up and overlooked. There's so many citizen tips. I always use
you, Gillian.
the Gabby Petito case as a great example of citizen sleuth. Everyone was looking for Gabby Petito in her white Ford Transit. We now know that she and Brian Laundrie had been in what is called dispersed camping. Way out in the wilderness. No porta potty hookups, no lights, no cell phone range. And there was a citizen who had been following the story, and they had the handle red, blue, and methane, as I recall. And they spotted Gabby Petito's white Ford Transit. And out of the blue, in the middle
I
of...
remember Gabby. I reported her story as well, Nancy. That was crazy. The couple that went hiking, guys, and the young lady wound up not returning, and then the boyfriend that actually did it to her wound up taking himself out the game. I remember that. I remember that story, guys. Thank you for that gift, Jalen.
For nowhere. They go, hey, that could be Gabby's Ford Transit. They called it in, Brian, and law enforcement went out there, and if it had not been for that citizen sleuth, we would never have found Gabby Petito's remains, and her parents would be wondering to this day what happened to Gabby. The outcome wasn't good, but they know they have the knowledge of what happened to Gabby. So, did you know, Brian Fitzgibbons, that in the last 24 hours, there have been 4,000 calls, tips called in. Before that, there had only been 1,800 since Feb 1. But once this video was released, let's play it again, control room, please. This is what is generating the calls and the tips. This. And I want to see his face as best as we can, that balaclava, that ski mask that he is wearing. This guy, if I could just get my hands on him. So
Close up. That's him right there. People are calling in to identify this person based off this alone, guys. He had a flashlight or something in his mouth. I think he was trying to, make the camera lens, blur out his face even more. He thought that was working. He had the flashlight in his mouth. But this is the perpetrator right here. This is the prime suspect.
Gibbons, you believe, repeat, what you think is the reason they're out beating the bushes by the side of the road?
Yeah, first and foremost, right, as I said before, they're doing everything they said. Law enforcement's doing everything they said they would do, which is cover every base. And they're gonna search those avenues of egress away from Mrs. Guthrie's house, where this perpetrator, this suspect who was at the door, very well could have discarded some of that equipment or some of that clothing to disguise his appearance after leaving the scene. So that's number one. I think that's just part of the blocking and tackling.
Fitzgibbons. That's a really good thought. Coles Road, let me tell you about a case I had. It was the first bank robbery I ever had. And the guy did just that. He came into the bank in a disguise. He was wearing a double-breasted suit, dress, can't remember his shoes, hat, wig, darkened aviator glasses, fake mustache, beard. He left with the money, and he had, as I called it, a breakaway suit. He had basted up the back of it. We didn't have DNA. Yanked it off, took off the hat, took off the mustache, the whole wig, the whole thing, threw it down. Underneath, he was wearing a short sleeve shirt, a pair of shorts, athletic socks up to the knee. He got on a bicycle that was parked beside the bank, drove off on the bicycle, and got away.
Wow.
He drove right past all of the ambulances and the police that were racing to the scene, sirens blazing, rode right by them.
Well, he was smart. He got away with his money.
Different outfit. Now, look at this guy, Coles Road. He's clearly, to me, it's clear, he has on layers. Layers. He's about to bust out of the pants and the jacket. Think that could be why?
Well, he's certainly being overly cautious by wearing the multiple layers to prevent hair and touch DNA from being left at the crime scene. Now, I look at...
They say he's super smart. Y'all think this guy might do this for a living or something. This might be a professional.
This from a different lens, Nancy. Before we had this video, you had the majority of the commentators saying that, this looked like a professional hit job because of the success so far with not being able to identify who did this. Now, what if, this person here is doing this for our benefit to mislead us into thinking that it's somebody that it's not, or that it's a type of operation that it wasn't. So, I'm kind of taking this with a grain of salt right now until we have some additional evidence to kind of lead us on the way.
You're giving them a lot of credit.
A lot of credit.
You can't just drop a bomb like that, Coles Road, and not expect me to cross-examine you. What do you mean? That the guy on the porch is trying to mislead us to make us think it's something it's not. It's a kidnap.
How many of y'all out there think it may be the son-in-law, like some of the reports have been saying, allegedly? You know what I'm saying? How many of y'all out there allegedly think that this may be the son-in-law behind this, guys? 1 for if you believe it, 2 for if you don't.
Of 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie. And he's such a bumbling idiot that he tried to cover up the door cam with foliage, which is a real dichotomy with whoever wrote the ransom note, which was very well written. But what do you mean he's trying to make us think it's something it's not? We already know what it is. It's kidnap.
Well, there's kidnapping that is a dumb kidnapping where people get caught. And then there's a professional kidnapping where people
I see we got a bunch of twos down there and a bunch of ones. So we are house divided, guys. Some think it may be the son-in-law and some say no. Your opinion is your opinion, guys.
Get caught. Now, everything except for the video has been done on a professional level. So this video isn't congruent with the other things that have happened. This 84-year-old was kidnapped, and there's a national manhunt for the people or person involved. And we, at least as far as the public is concerned, know almost virtually nothing about what's going on, including finding Nancy Guthrie. So what I'm trying to say is, we don't know yet to attribute a motive. We don't know yet if this is professional or not. But if somebody later on, a month from now, said that this was staged to, mislead us in our investigation, I wouldn't necessarily be surprised.
Okay, now I see what you're saying. Like, make us think.
84 years old, man. Let that woman go home, man. That's somebody's grandma, man. Somebody is missing their granny right now. Real talk. 84 years old. Wow.
It's a kidnap for ransom when really it's a murder in order to get her inheritance. Something that's just a theory of misdirection to follow up and give an example of what you're stating. Okay, a lot's happening right now. We now know that the FBI and local law enforcement is trying to identify the clothing, the backpack, the shoes, the balaclava, the ski mask, the gun, you name it. Very quickly, Dave Mack, tell us about yet a third missive this one to TMZ that has gone down literally in the last hour.
So this is about
It has,
that
Nancy,
note, guys.
the shocking reality is that earlier today, TMZ got another email. Now, this one is not from the actual kidnappers. This one is from a rat promising to rat out the kidnappers in exchange for 1 Bitcoin. Now, they will name who the kidnapper is. And by the way, he's not saying this person, doesn't say plural. It's saying I will name the kidnapper, one person, singular, in exchange for 1 Bitcoin that cost about $66,000. That's the offer. It's not the kidnapper. It is somebody who knows the kidnapper offering to rat them out for the money.
So they got somebody. They got somebody that says for 66,000, they will name somebody that knows the kidnapper, not the actual kidnapper himself, but someone that knows the kidnapper. All right.
Hunters, the FBI has been
Shout out to Mr. B for being a member for the last 16 months.
Just join. He's worked cold case. Good luck. Straight out to Chris McDonough joining us, director of the Cold Case Foundation, former homicide detective.
Yeah, it's crazy.
He's worked Oceanside, California. He's worked over 300 homicides in a 25-year career. That's his expertise, and he is the star of the Interview Room on YouTube. What do you make of a rat ratting out a rat? Can he be believed? And does nobody understand Bitcoin can be traced? You put that wallet up there, throw in $100. The minute it is transferred out, bam, the IRS can do it. The DOJ can do it. The FBI can do it. Unless they move the money to a foreign country that has low or no Bitcoin regulation. In other words, there's nothing.
Well, Nancy, if they didn't know how to do it, they know how to do it now. Listening to you, you just told them how to untrace the money. You told them it can be traced unless they send it to another country. You know, this, that, and the third. You just told them how to get the money without getting caught. Nancy, crazy. Let's go.
For us to subpoena, there's nothing there because there's no regulation. We can get him.
Yeah, absolutely. And remember that guy that used to send the, hey, you're the heir of a Nigerian prince, and for $1 million we'll hold it. Okay, this is just a bunch of noise that's going on around this thing. What's really important here is refocus back at the house, and that's what the investigators are doing. And what you were talking about,
giving folks ideas and stuff. Nancy, now calm down.
A little bit ago, Nancy, on this search that's going on here. If they do find a piece of clothing, one evidentiary path that they can go down is they can look at that clothing, and there's what they call an RN number on the tags. If the clothing was manufactured overseas, they're going to be able to get right down to the cash register where that clothing was purchased.
Put him up, please. Put him up. Okay, you got me at RN number. Start right there.
Yeah. So an RN number, and I actually had a homicide.
Shout out to Miss T for being a member for the last 16
RN number, and we found where the suspect had purchased his clothing. What it is, it's a Federal Trade Commission number, and it's mandatory for any kind of import clothing from overseas. And every piece of clothing has it. Let's say if it was made, in Indonesia or something to that effect. Well, with that number, the Federal Trade Commission tracks the inventory as it comes into the United States, and then the distribution points as to where that particular clothing went, including backpacks.
Well, McDonough, you're brilliant. I just plugged in RN number. You can actually search the RN database. There is an RN database. Wow.
What's up, Cupcake? Hey, Miss T.
You had a case and you used the RN database? How?
Yeah, the suspect pulled off his jacket and he left it in a drainage ditch behind the murder scene. And so we pulled that number through the Federal Trade Commission, and we were able to find out, when the item was manufactured, who the distributors were, And then we traced it to a store in a mall nearby, and we were able to go to that mall and pull the purchase receipt of all of those types of jackets. And then we had the credit card numbers, and we just kind of...
Let's take time to hit that like button if you have not, guys. Double tap that screen if you have not hit the like button. That's one way to hit the like button, double tapping the screen on your mobile device. Or you can click those 3 dots, hit that thumbs up, guys. I encourage you to hit the like button. It helps out the channel, man. You know, this is a crazy situation right here, a crazy case. You know, basically this dude just came and kidnapped this old lady, you know, and is holding her for ransom, and they arrested somebody and let them go. And yeah, man, this is just all over the place, you know. Man, this it surely seems like an inside job,
you know, through elimination ended up with our guy.
I didn't want to interrupt you. I understand it that far, but how did you get it into evidence?
Easily. We just showed him the chain of custody, you know, how we did it. And the DA was able to...
and Chris McDonough, did you get him?
Yes, he actually, yes, first-degree murder during the commission of a robbery. Yeah, and the victim was David Tabor. Yeah, it was three nationals, by the way, from...
Yeah, I had already said that, Cupcake. They were speculating that it might be the son-in-law. You know, some people, we were a house divided when I asked that question, Cupcake. Some people said they believe that it's the son-in-law, and some people said they don't believe it's the son-in-law. So it was a divided situation in here.
Over the border.
RN number. That's amazing. In our effort to try and figure out, and I guarantee you, you did this as local law enforcement. No telling what the FBI can do. Because let me just throw this at you. Everyone was wondering, how did they get the images off the front porch? Let's just drink them in for another moment, because this is a big, huge break. Okay, where did they come from? This is how it went down. And Brian Fitzgibbons, jump in if I've got anything wrong, or you too, Colesrude. This is what happened. You can see up at the top right, it says Nest. That's Nancy Guthrie's camera system through Nest. Nest is part of Google. We know Nancy did not have a subscription, so the video wasn't kept. How did we get the video? It was gone. Well, CAST, C-A-S-T, Cellular Analysis Survey Team, used all of their efforts, and they reached Google, and they then mined Google's vast.
Oh, wow. So if you got a Ring camera, even if you don't have a subscription, but it's still hooked up, then that means it's still recording, guys. It's still recording, meaning they can go back and put... That's basically what she's saying they did. They went and mined it out of somewhere way deep down somewhere in a storage thingy somewhere. You know, they went back and they went and found it, guys. Her subscription wasn't even active, and they still went back and found a video. Wow.
Inventory their
It was still recording.
I mean, think of Indiana Jones' Raiders of the Lost Ark, where you find out the Ark of the Covenant. That's the Lost Ark. The Ark of the Covenant that holds the 10 Commandments is way, way, way at the end of a long, long aisle, floor to ceiling, in a dusty old box, never to be seen again. So that's what it's like to go.
Good Lord, do y'all know that thing is still recording without a subscription? Google got it tucked away, buried for a short time. You know, basically whatever you're doing in front of it, you know, they still got it, even if it's not active. Good Lord, have mercy. Ooh, wait, man.
To Google's database or their archives. But the FBI did it. They went through all of that data, and they find Nancy Guthrie's door cam, and they resurrect this. Power to the feds. What I'm saying, Chris McDonough, you solved that case with the RN number off a jacket down a drain pipe. What can they do? Now, here is
Yeah, ain't no telling what people are gonna be. You know what I'm saying, Baldwin? Hey, man, ain't no telling what they doing outside, man. That thing's still recording, even though it's not active. You're not paying for it, but it's still recording, man. It's still recording. And Google got it somewhere deep stored, you know, where you can't access it because you ain't paid, but they still recording. Just imagine what type of stuff is off in there. Good Lord, have mercy, Jesus. Stay from in front of those Ring cameras, even stay away from the Ring cameras, even when you think it's off.
Sad but earnest effort. Let's see what our staffers at Crime Stories came up with. We were looking for that very unique ski mask, or since it comes down over the neck, a balaclava. It's got unique stitching around the eyes. The nose is not shown, just that hole for the mouth. And you have the vertical ribs gray in color. Walmart. I guarantee you somebody somewhere is doing this right now. Let's look at the jacket. The jacket has a very unique zip down the front. Now remember, in the lighting where the perp actually is not true. It's not a true depiction. So they're going to have to figure out, was this, I've seen all sorts of transformations online. Is this real? What color was it? They could probably pick out what size it is. The zipper is reflective. So that's what we know about that. Again, Walmart. That'd be the first place I would look, the local Walmart, because we believe this guy is from Tucson. Why? His affinity with KGUN and KOLD. Also, he's a guy that goes to TMZ. Who goes to TMZ? There is a very specific group, a demographic that reads TMZ.
And what demographic is that?
Who else does? Look at the backpack.
I thought everybody watched
TMZ.
TMZ.
And it's crammed to the brim. He is not going in to take anything out. He's not in for a robbery or a burglary. He's taking something in, for Pete's sake. Let's see the other side, which I find to be very, very demonstrative. The two light, look, on either shoulder, you can see the light reflectors.
Miss Fat, you want to watch TMZ?
What
Okay.
they're looking for. An adult-sized backpack with these light reflectors, those shoulder patches he's got on his chest. They're looking for the balaclava. They're looking for the jacket. They're looking for the backpack. The gloves, at first look like boxer's gloves. Is he wearing multiple layers? That said, we understand that that is being done right now. Okay, what do you think about that, Fitzgibbons?
No, you're absolutely right, Nancy. And they're, you know, so far as analyzing this video even further, they are breaking apart every single pixel around that mouth and those eyes on every exposed piece behind that mask. Now, obviously, it's an uphill battle for whatever softwares and whatever abilities the FBI has, but they've already surprised us one time with recovering this video. I wouldn't be surprised if they did again.
Fitzgibbons is actually joining us from a scene. He is working. So, Fitz, before you sign off, can I talk to you about facial recognition?
Through the mask?
Because
facial recognition would be hard through the mask, wouldn't it?
from that video, the FBI can determine, and local law enforcement can do this as well. It's not magic. It's not genius. They can look at this. They can measure the length, the height of the stones in Nancy Guthrie's porch, on her porch, when he first walks in, when he first steps up on that step, and they can determine his height, probably down to about an inch. Okay, let's see him walk up the porch. Here we go. He's got his head down. That's not helpful.
That looked like a light.
Keep going.
Am I tripping?
Here we go.
Do y'all see a light
Got
when
his
you
head
first
down.
look?
Let's see him
It's
walk
a
up
light
the
on
porch.
this on this.
Here we go.
It's a light on this. It's a light on there.
He's got his head down.
Look, it like a light come on when he put his head down. It's like a light came on. No cap. Watch.
Let's see him walk up the porch. Here we
Now right here.
He's got his head down. That's not.
Did y'all see that light flash real quick? Like he put his head down.
See him
Light
walk
came
up the
on.
porch. Here we go. He's got his head down.
See it? Y'all see that light right there? I think he had a flashlight in his mouth. Maybe so. But as soon as he put his head down, it came on.
Let's see him walk up the porch. Here we go.
Now right there, right here.
He's got his head down.
Bam, see? I don't know if it's a flashlight or a light in his mouth or what, but some most definitely lights up. And then when he gets closer up here, you don't see the light anymore. It's like the light just turned off.
And that's not helpful.
See? When he put his head down, you don't see it no more. It's like it just turned off. Unless that's like a reflector or something.
To about an inch. Okay. Let's see him walk up the porch. Here we go. He's got his head down.
Now go to light. The light just came on. And then as he walks, it turns off. They say reflective jacket. No, I'm talking about with the ski mask. Not these two lights. Not this one and this one. We know those are the reflectors. I'm talking about this one. This one right here. When he first walks up, it's not on. But when he put his head down, they come on.
And determine his height. Probably down to about an inch.
It's in his mouth, okay.
Okay. Let's see him walk up the porch. Here we go. He's got his head down. That's not helpful. Keep going.
See, no light. If the light is in his mouth, where did it go when he got up on the porch? Where did it go? Where did it go?
Right there. When he was walking up and held his head up. Also, you can even get the size of this guy's shoe when he's stepping on those tiles. There's one where he steps directly at the beginning of the tile, where he can get his shoe size. It's already been estimated to be a size 12.
They got
his
that
height has
zoomed
been
in on
estimated
the
between
shoe.
5'11" and 6 feet. Okay, facial recognition. It's used at airports. It's used by people that already have clear to get on to planes. It's used by passport.
Yeah, he most definitely got that flashlight in his mouth. I just seen him shine it and cover it up. Or a glow stick in his mouth. It's something that light up in his mouth.
Quick lines by global entry, all sorts.
See, because there it go again.
Facial recognition is already out there. I mean, look at your iPhone, for Pete's sake. That's facial recognition. So we need the distance between his eyes, from the inner part of the eyes to each other, from the outer part of the eyes to each other, the length of the nose, the width of the face, cheekbone to cheekbone, the length of the face.
Can we get 30 more likes, guys? We need 30 more people to double tap that screen. If you ain't hit that like button, double tap the screen on your mobile device or click the 3 dots, hit the thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're new, as Nancy gives us all the information, the latest and breaking news in the Nancy Guthrie situation, guys, where she was kidnapped for Bitcoins, and then all of a sudden, somebody who knows the kidnappers wants to turn in somebody that knows the kidnappers for $67,000, one Bitcoin.
Forehead to chin and the size of the head. Brian Fitzgibbons, can they do it?
I think they have an uphill battle to identify a suspect from these images in this video. However, what they are going to get to, and these are things that you just highlighted, they're going to have these measurements about the eyes, about the mouth, the height, the shoe size, that when they do have a suspect, when they're going to be able to use this video to confirm that suspect. So it is valuable. They're going to go through this exercise, and that exercise will turn out to be valuable. What we're missing here is ratios, distance between the eyes, eyebrows, chin to nose. You know, these ratios are going to come together.
Now, some of the people the other day told me they believe they seen a mustache on this guy. Like he had a hairy mustache on his face. They said they could see it behind the mask. I don't know. I don't see one, but hey, man, that's what they saw.
On any software.
And I see somebody down there that says it's a woman. People were most definitely saying that this looks to be a female rather than a male.
For it to actually make that ID. And with that mask, we're obviously missing this. So we're dependent on all the other things, body language, height, shoe size, rough weight and things like that.
Hi, guys.
Let's get Nancy on past that.
Best-selling author of know her well, Janine Driver. Body language expert, CEO of the Body Language Institute. She is a New York Times best-selling author of You Say More Than You Think. And
Nancy got a body language expert up here to read the body language of the perpetrator. Let's go.
You Can't Lie to Me. She's a host of a hit podcast called In the Driver's Seat with Janine Driver. Janine, thank you for being with us. So many things to ask you. I'd like to get to the guy that was caught and released, but right now, he's not a player in this scenario. I want you to look instead at the guy, the known perp, on Nancy Guthrie's porch. What can you tell me?
All right, Nancy and listener at home, viewer at home. What the police are looking for most likely right now is, does this man look familiar to you? The way he is moving, we have what's called movement DNA. Look as he walks out here.
Well, yeah, somebody could most definitely identify a person by their walk. I covered another case where a lady said she could tell her nephew shadow if she seen it. Once you seen a person move around, you start kind of being able to, recognize them by their movements. I do it with my oldest son as well, and so does my wife. She most definitely, listen, you see your kid, let's just say your kid plays football, and you go to the game, you don't know what number he is, so you start looking at everybody on the field, trying to figure out which one of them it is. That's what happened to us at my son's varsity game. He went from JV to varsity, and they changed his number, so we didn't know what number he was. So she went to looking out there, I went to looking out there, and it seems like around the same time, we said, oh, there you go. And she was like, I can tell that stance from anywhere in the world. So just by seeing his stance, the way he stood, she knew that was her son. Just like some people are able to do when they see people, when you start to see people on a daily basis in their movements and the way they walk, you can most definitely be like, oh yeah, that's such and such right there. I can tell by the way they walk. So yeah, she right about that. Let's go.
If you've ever been in a grocery store and you're like, wait a minute, is that my sister? Or in a movie theater, someone walked by, you're like, wait a minute, is that my neighbor? We all have movement DNA. There are about 9 billion people on the planet. There are 36 billion different ways we can move our bodies that connect to how we make decisions. This man, when walking, if you look at him and you
Let's go. Somebody down there said, I could see my daughter, even if she was wearing a mask, you would know it was her. Let's go. Yeah, man, you know people that you see a lot. You start recognizing their patterns, their movements or whatever. Yeah, so somebody may be able to identify him just off his walk alone.
He looks like my neighbor. He looks like my cousin, my former babysitter. This looks like a basketball player that I used to coach in high school. I'm telling you, your instinct probably picks up on that movement DNA before someone speaks, before we see their face. The fact that we can see his body move despite having a mask is incredibly valuable to us. There are 36 billion different ways we move our bodies that connect to how we make decisions and process information. If you have a vibe, look how he tilted to his left right here when he walked up the stairs. If you know someone who angles more to their left when they're standing, when they're thinking, these are our evaluators. These people tend to stand at diagonals. It's like the scale of justice. These are the people who like a system. This is most likely a man who has created a system before he did this. So if you're looking at this movement, I have a funny feeling police have given us this so you can say, I can't put my finger on it, but I just feel like some reason this looks like blank who I know. Please call the number Nancy's going to give you. Please let police know. No tip is not invaluable to us. At this point, we want to get Nancy Guthrie home. So look at the movement. Pay attention to that slant. Look how he walked down that step off the porch. Does that ring true to you? Think about it. When I have 3 sons, when they walk in, before I can even see them, I can hear, is that Jack? Jack, is that you? Charlie, is that you? Angus, is that you? Why? The way we move, we have movement DNA. It is a behavioral fingerprint. Look at this, just like a fingerprint on our thumb. Does this behavioral fingerprint seem familiar to you? If it does, and let us know.
Janine Driver, the author of You Say More Than You Think, I'd also like you to take a look at the siblings. Our friend Savannah, that I worked with at Court TV, her sister Annie, and the brother Cameron. What do you see? A lot has been made of their nonverbal behavior online. You're the expert.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are tearing apart Annie because we're not hearing much from her. And I want to express to you how we look at people who grieve in the movies is not what's happening here. This has been over a week. My mother died. I'm the matriarch of my family. I'm the oldest of three. I didn't lose my cool until literally at her graveside when they played the song Time to Say Goodbye. I collapsed forward. That was 6 or 7 days after Mom passed. These people, this family, the Guthrie family, are exhausted.
Yeah, I feel like she got something to do with it. A lot of people are speculating, that maybe she had something to do with it, or the son-in-law, guys. I'm just asking, what do y'all think? I don't think so, but hey, I could be wrong.
We're up all night. When we judge people's behavior, like we're judging the Guthrie kids here, right? I want you to stop and think, do I have a bias? Because we watch so many movies, Nancy, we have a grieving bias. When I weigh in on cases, whether it was Judge Kavanaugh versus, Dr.
Hey, hold on. I just see somebody said, that the dude that was moving around outside looks a lot like this guy with the cap on. I don't know who that is. I just seen it in my chat. But they feel like it might have been him in that video we just watched creeping up on that porch. I don't know, man. That's what they said in my chat.
We judge people's behavior like we're judging the Guthrie kids here, right? I want you to stop and think, do I have a bias? Because we watch so many movies, Nancy, we have a...
Gillian said the man in the hat is Savannah's son. No, is the mama's son, the one that got kidnapped. That's her son. Yeah, somebody in the chat said the dude in the mask looked like him. I'm just saying what they said.
Grieving bias. When I weigh in on cases, whether it was Judge Kavanaugh versus, Dr. Ford back in the day, I stop and say, first, Janine, what's my bias? My bias is I was molested as a kid and I didn't remember all the details. Like Dr. Ford didn't remember all the details. I'm a mother of 3 sons. I don't want my 3 sons being found guilty before we even hear what the other person has to say. So I have a bias there.
Somebody said eyebrows identical. Somebody said too small. They all got big heads. Who has a financial need? That's a brother. He got a big head. Shoulders look too narrow. They say, yeah, looks suspicious. Let's go.
When we can name our bias, we can make smarter decisions. So for the people who are giving the Guthrie kids a hard time, especially Annie, just stop. Do you have a quieter sibling? Do you have someone else?
What do you see as a body language expert? What are you reading from their behavior? This is what you do for a living. You're a New York Times bestseller.
We need 96 more likes to hit 1,000 on that like button, guys. You know what I'm saying? Everybody who hasn't double tapped their screen, do so now. Hit the like button, guys. Double tap the screen if you're on a mobile device, or click those 3 dots. Hit that thumbs up if you're enjoying the show, guys. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, man.
This.
Look at Savannah, right? I've been interviewed by her. She's a good friend of yours. She normally stands up and sits up straight. She's very poised. She here is leaning forward. We often see this with the family member that feels like I'm responsible to save the situation. When we put our face forward like this, it says, I am paying attention to you. Pay attention to me. I'm hearing what you have to say. When we show our whole body, now I'm being pulled back. What Savannah is saying is, I'm taking this seriously. Listen to me. She uses very special language. Her body language is congruent with someone who is present.
So the body language expert that's here says that she feels like Savannah is being sincere. She's taking this serious, and basically she wants her mom back. That's what she's saying, that her body language is saying, guys. We are, we what, 70? No, we're 80 likes away from 1,000 on that like button, guys. Everybody in the building, double tap that screen on your mobile device if you have not, or click the 3 dots, hit that thumbs up, man.
Siblings, Cameron and Annie, are also, they're grieving, their body language. Annie's looking down, emotional. You see sadness in the chin. Sadness is one of the hardest emotions to fake. We see it on Annie's face right here. What we don't see, if they were involved in any way and knew what was going on, would be contempt, Nancy. So I appreciate you calling me back to body language. Contempt is this. It's one smirk on one side of her face.
Thank you.
Bernie Madoff did it. We had a former vice president of the United States doing this move a lot. This is moral superiority. There's 7 emotions that we all have. 7, I did the wrong number. And happiness, sadness, fear, surprise, anger, contempt, and disgust. Contempt shows up when someone is keeping a secret and they know something they're not revealing. Every single person that we have talked about with you, Nancy, over the years that said they had a missing loved one that then ended up being arrested for killing that person, every single one, from Scott Peterson to Chris Watts to you name the Jodi Arias, leaked contempt in these moments. We're not seeing it here, and we're not seeing smiling. Well, look at Chris Watts when he did his big, huge video when my wife and kids are missing, Shanann and Celeste and Bella. He's smiling. Where was fear and sadness? Here we have fear and sadness. This is grief. This is a family who is exhausted, holding it together the best they can.
Janine Driver joining us, a renowned body language expert and CEO of the Body Language Institute. Janine, thank you. Hi, guys. One. Headlines in one. You've got Nancy Guthrie's right now on the side of the road. We have searches going down around Nancy Guthrie's neighborhood right now as we go to air. The good news is, Dave Mack, I did not see any cadaver dogs.
No, they're actually looking for evidence they believe was tossed out. Now, you mentioned earlier about how you had a case where the person wore other clothing and got rid of it. Well, we looked at this video and you can tell those gloves. He's double wearing gloves, Nancy. Those things are so tight. Other parts of the clothing looks really tight too. Obvious. It seems obvious he could possibly have been tossing his stuff. But you know what, Nancy? They're not just in the foothills outside of Nancy Guthrie's house. They are also searching Rio Rico. I'm talking about the FBI and the sheriff's deputies. They're still searching around Rio Rico. Last night, where we had the person pulled over, we had them searching houses, his garage. Well, they're still searching down there, Nancy. We can't leave that out. They're searching roadways.
Okay, that's telling me something, Dave Mack. Chris McDonough, that's another search happening right now. That tells me that's part of the reason they pulled that guy over. Let's take a listen to the guy pulled over last night.
They helped me against my will. They didn't read me my rights until 2 hours later. Okay? You know what I mean? Like my wrist is all swollen. From the handcuffs. Like,
did you have any idea that this was about him? And do you know who Nancy Guthrie is?
That is Carlos Palazuelos. He is a delivery driver for GLS and DoorDash. That tells me something, Chris McDonough. It's not just him, it's the location. That location. They're out there searching. They were interested in him because he loosely fit the description and the location.
Yeah, absolutely. And that may give us an insight into the feds may have some type of digital footprint somewhere. And they're chasing that footprint. But what it also adds is there's a vehicle in play here. And when you see the suspect walking up to the porch, he comes from the area of the driveway. When he first walks up and his head's down, so everything's about identity right there for him. But he's coming from the area of the driveway. When he looks to the left, he's actually looking through the glass portion of the exterior door to see if there's anybody or anything inside that he can see. And so this guy is not very sophisticated. If you look at his gun holster, that's a revolver holster. It's not a semi-automatic holster. So that also tells us he's not very sophisticated around guns. And the fact that he's wearing multiple layers of gloves, that tells us that's going to be very difficult to get your finger through the trigger area of that gun. So it's almost like he just kind of put this kit on, as if he, wasn't quite familiar with guns, et cetera,
let's go back
to the trigger area
I want to
of
show
that
y'all
gun.
something.
So it's
all right. So this point right here is where some of my audience felt like they seen a mustache, guys. Does that appear to be a mustache to y'all? The experts say, hey, look right here. This is the shadow. Right here where my mouse is going. This is the shadow right here. So they don't think that this is a shadow because the shadow is right here. They think that this might actually be a mustache, guys. What do y'all think? A shadow or a mustache? 1 for shadow, 2 for mustache. Let me know in the comments what y'all think. What do y'all think? Mustache or shadow? 1 for, what was it? Was it 1 for mustache, 2 for shadow? Let's go. I see 2s. I see mustache. 1. I see a bunch of 2s. Good gracious. The ones are coming back. Somebody said that might be Stephanie. Okay, all right. Bunch of ones. Somebody said scary. Somebody said it's fake. Okay. Bunch of 2s. What's up with it, Sleepy? Bunch of ones. All right, we split again, man. I'm gonna say split. We split again. Some say shadow, some say mustache. Yeah, but it's a bunch of 1s and 2s down there. Okay, we are house divided.
It's almost like he just kind of put this kit on, as if he, wasn't quite familiar with guns, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
So I can see the feds chasing that down too.
Yes, not sophisticated at all. I've never seen anybody carry a gun like that. And quickly, back out to Josh Colesrud. Did you hear Palazuelos whining? He didn't get his Miranda rights for 2 hours. He wasn't arrested. What?
Yep.
What is he whining about? It ain't the wits.
Carlos was detained. He was not arrested. And when somebody is detained, and they're free to leave, like he was told that he was, Miranda warnings are not required. Now, what is required to detain somebody? It's reasonable suspicion. That is, 1 step below probable cause, which is what police officers need to arrest somebody. Now, if the police had probable cause, he would never have gotten home last night. He would have been arrested and booked. Now, we don't know why the police officers were talking to him. It could have been their suspicion that he was connected to the ransom notes or to the kidnapping. But until they give us additional information, we're just going to have to guess.
If you know or think you know anything
Let's
about
look at this.
whining, he didn't get his Miranda rights for 2 hours. He wasn't arrested.
He would never have gotten home.
1-800-225.
He was connected to. We're just going to have to guess.
Right here. Hold on. All right. So it says update timeline. 9:48 p.m. Garage door opens. 9:50 p.m. Garage door closes. 1:47 a.m. Door cam disconnect. 12:12 a.m. Software detects person on camera. 12:28 pacemaker disconnects from phone. 11:56 family checks on Nancy, guys. So that's a bit of the timeline. All right. I got one more for y'all, but y'all got to get my likes up, man. You know what I'm saying? Get my likes up. Double tap the screen. If you have not double tapped that screen, double tap the screen for me. If you're on the mobile device, double tap your screen. Any other device, click the 3 dots in the right-hand corner. Hit that thumbs up. Get the likes up, guys. It helps out the channel, because we're going to get to 15 actual things that they picked up, guys, from watching this doorbell cam. You know what I'm saying? 15 things that they were able to, pick up on the person who took her by watching the door cam footage. Let's go. Double tap that screen, guys. Get the likes up. You know what I'm saying? We are 30 likes away from 1,000. If you ain't hit that like button, man, double tap that screen for your boy. It's late night in Texas, man. It's 3:42 in the morning, and we up covering watching Nancy Grace cover Nancy Guthrie, and finding out everything it is to know regarding this whole entire situation where this 84-year-old woman was kidnapped for some Bitcoins, cryptocurrency, a couple million in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. That's crazy, guys. Yeah, in 2026, you can still be kidnapped. I didn't think it was possible, but hey, I guess it is. We watching it. Let's go. Let's get to these clues, guys.
Mom is still out there.
There's a reason that Morgan & Morgan.
Oh, we ain't doing more. No free promo.
At 2:28 Vendée.
All right, so here we go.
Attached from her phone at 2:28 in the morning, and presumably she was pulled from her $1 million home as she slept. This came after a masked person was seen approaching her door wearing a backpack. This person appeared to be armed with a gun. Nancy is a mother and a grandmother. She has a family who misses and
Let's find out who exactly Nancy is, guys. 4 more likes to 1,000, guys. Double tap that screen and click those 3 dots, hit that thumbs up. Remember to subscribe if you are new.
loves her, and she needs your help. They need your help desperately. This is a race against time like no other. Nancy Guthrie does not have cognitive issues or dementia, but she has heart issues and takes medication daily. She needs it. As I'm sure you know by now, Nancy is the mother of Today Show co-anchor Savannah Guthrie. Savannah issued her latest plea for information about her mom's whereabouts on Monday of this week as a ransom deadline approached. It was the 3rd video posted to Savannah's Instagram and Facebook accounts.
Hi there, everybody. I wanted to come on and...
All right, y'all get to do y'all own evaluation now. Do y'all think she has something to do with it? Is she sad? Do you believe her story, or you think they behind it and she got something to do with it? Let me know.
just share a few thoughts as we enter into another week of this nightmare. I just want to say, first of all, thank you so much for all of the prayers and the love that we have felt, my sister and brother and I, and that our mom has felt. Because we believe that somehow, some way, she is feeling these prayers and that God is lifting her even in this moment and in this darkest place.
Y'all got me feeling like I'm running one of the best live streams on YouTube right now, man. You know what I'm saying? Y'all got me feeling like I'm running one of the best live streams on YouTube right now. Shout out to everybody that's watching the channel, man. I most definitely appreciate y'all support, man. If you're happy with the services, man, hit that like button, man. Subscribe to the channel if you're new.
We believe our mom is still out there. We need your help. Law enforcement is working tirelessly around the clock, trying to bring her home, trying to find her. She was taken and we don't know where. And we need your help. So I'm coming on just to ask you, not just for your prayers, but no matter where you are, even if you're far from Tucson, if you see anything...
Somebody down there said, man, I'm telling y'all, it's the brother-in-law. It's the brother-in-law. He believes strongly that it's the brother-in-law.
Hear anything, if there's anything at all that seems strange to you, that you report to law enforcement. We are at an hour of desperation, and we need your help.
That was Monday, hours before.
All right, so how did y'all feel about what she said? You know, let me know. Do y'all think after hearing what she had to say right there, if you felt like she had something to do with it, do you still think that? And if you felt like she didn't have anything to do with it after listening to that, do you feel like she does? Let me know down there in those comments how y'all felt about her, bring my mom home speech, and how sad she is. I ain't see a tear drop. That's one thing. I'd be hysterical, you know what I'm saying? But hey, she holding it together like a G. I'm just saying she holding it together. I ain't see not one tear fall.
And we need your help.
That was Monday, hours before a ransom deadline was nearing. That deadline passed. The alleged kidnappers reportedly wanted $6 million in Bitcoin for the return of Nancy. TMZ received a message with a link to the Bitcoin wallet, and as of Monday night, there was no activity in that wallet.
Okay, Ms. Pooh Bear say, man, I believe she in shock. Okay, all right, bet.
Local TV stations also received ransom messages, but did not disclose details of what was written. So it appears the ransom wasn't paid, of course. Savannah Guthrie and her siblings wanted proof of life.
And Dominique, who is most definitely a member, says when people cry too much, your eyes become dry. Okay, all right, bet. Shock and exhaustion. Okay. Ball and say, ooh, we man, my hair. That like button looking great tonight, man. I'm feeling like I'm running one of the best shows on YouTube, man. They got me feeling good. Shout out to everybody that hit that like button, man. Yeah, it's looking right tonight, Bob.
We're willing to pay. That's what they said in a Saturday.
Oh yeah. And once the stream is over, you know, to whoever can hear me right now, when this stream is over, guys, y'all make sure y'all go to the comment section up under my video. Leave me a comment about how you think I did tonight, man. I would appreciate it. So once the video is over, man, y'all go comment under the video. You know, comment under my video. Let me know how you think I did with this dang, I done forgot her name. The Guthrie, Miss Guthrie's situation, as well as Pam Bundy. Let me know up under the comments.
Evening Instagram post. Now, we don't know the exact contents of the ransom messages and whether they were actually from the people who took Nancy Guthrie. On Tuesday, February 10th, the Pima County Sheriff's Office and the FBI released these terrifying images of a person approaching Nancy Guthrie's home. Take a close look as the person walks onto the porch. Their head is down despite the fact that they are wearing a mask. It's as if they know there may be a camera that could capture their face. The backpack has reflectors on it. The person
it's as if they know it's a camera right there. So this could be an inside job unless they've been patrolling the place, you know, basically casing out the joint for days or something like that. In order for him to know that it's a camera up on that porch, you know, and know to put his head down, really says a lot. That says that they've been either it's an inside thing to where they knew the camera was there, or they may have been casing out the joint, you know, looking to see what they can see in advance to actually doing this.
Is wearing gloves and a jacket, along with what appears to be blue jeans. In another video clip, the person approaches the door and touches a firearm holstered at the center of their waist and sees the doorbell camera. The person's gloved left hand moves toward the camera, covering part of it, the hand balled into a fist. The person turns around, hunched over, and walks toward the landscaping, pulling part of a plant from the ground. With the plant in their hand, the person returns to the Nest camera, covering it with the leafy, flowery plant pieces. We know the camera was removed, so is the person trying to remove it while hastily trying to obscure what they are doing? Still photos from the video show the person has a mustache. You can see it if you look closely at the whole.
Whoa, y'all hear that? So, Law and Crime is saying that to what they believe and what some of y'all saw, they feel like the man has a mustache. So they are basically confirming some of our thoughts. Well, it kind of we didn't know what the other side thought, but they are announcing that he got some mustache, guys. It's definitely a mustache up under the mask.
The mask that is for the mouth. It appears to be a dark mustache and also part of a goatee. The eyebrows appear to also be dark, as you would expect them to be, and the eyes are almond-shaped. In another still image from the video, you can see the eyebrows just under the ski mask, at least part of them, and the eyes. The masked person also has a flashlight in their mouth.
They said mustache and a goatee, guys. So they have determined that this suspect has a mustache and a goatee.
Mouth as they hold those pieces of the plant from the landscaping. The eyelashes are not distinctive. As I mentioned, FBI Director Kash Patel and the Pima County Sheriff's Office released these images. Hours later, SWAT teams rolled out and detained a man for questioning. They searched his home. Patel appeared on Fox News' Hannity, and he explained how despite Nancy Guthrie not having a Nest subscription, they were still able to get these valuable images.
We were able to execute.
Yeah, and don't forget that even if your Ring camera isn't active, if you got Nest, they still record. And they were able to pull up this video that wouldn't otherwise exist through going through Google to get them to go dig in their cloud, I guess, and find this video footage. I thought once you didn't pay your subscription, they cut your camera off and they not recording anymore. But come to find out, the cameras are still recording, guys. That was one thing that I found out.
Lawful searches and go to these private sector companies and expedite results and then go into their systems and actually excavate material that people would think would normally be deleted and no one would look for. And basically, without getting into too many of the details, that's how the FBI worked with our private sector partners to pull out material that people thought didn't even exist.
And Patel discussed the investigation and answered a question from Hannity about whether there are suspects or persons of interest in this investigation.
I will say we have made substantial progress in these last 36, 48 hours thanks to the technical capabilities of the FBI and our partnerships.
All right,
and I
so
do believe we are.
Shout out to Jay Stewart says it's records anyway, and who knows how it's used, okay? And he also says it's all in the agreement. So basically, when you get your Ring camera or whatever, tucked away in those agreements that you don't read, it's somewhere off in there where it says that they still keep the videos even if you don't pay your subscription. Read your camera agreements. Police have access. All right, Jay, I know how it's used. Okay, all right, my guy, appreciate you. He said, make sure you read it. All right, bet.
Looking at people who, as we say, are persons of interest. But as you know, with any investigation, you're a person of interest until you're either eliminated or you're actually found to be the culprit or the culprits involved. And that's the stage we're at right now.
As that interview was underway, agents detained Carlos Palazuelos in Rio Rico.
This is the man that they had picked up as a suspect before releasing him, and saying he had nothing to do with it. Scared the holy crap out of him.
Arizona, that's 60 miles south of Tucson. He was questioned and later released, and a court-ordered search of his home was conducted. He told reporters he didn't know who Nancy Guthrie was, and he hoped she'd be returned safely. He works in Tucson as a package delivery driver.
I hope they get the suspect, because I'm not it. They better do their job and find the suspect that did it so they can clear my name. I'm done. Look at what I'm putting my family through.
You're on national news now.
Not just them, even my parents in Tucson. Right. Yeah.
So who is this masked person in the video? And does this person have Nancy Guthrie? Is it actually a man, or could it possibly be a woman in disguise?
Could it be a woman, guys? They touching on both of them. A lot of y'all said, I think it's a woman. I think it's a woman. And some of y'all, was this a man? They got a goatee. And then they said, well, you know, they put on fake beards. And so they going to touch on this situation right here as well. Let's see.
Guys, the FBI is offering a $50,000 reward in this case. So I'd like to bring in Mike Alcazar. He's a retired NYPD detective. He was also a hostage negotiator. So Mike, I'm interested in your thoughts on this video and the images that were taken from the video that were released by both the Pima County Sheriff's Office and the FBI on Tuesday. It sounds like Kash Patel says they got this and they turned it around as quickly as they could to get it out to the public.
Yeah, I mean, I can't believe it took several days to get it. I almost feel like maybe the FBI should have been the lead in right from the get-go, because when we have a case like this, that's like investigative 101. You know, we interview the witnesses, canvass for surveillance videos, you know, and they got it. Now they got the video. It's great. And I'm sure they're getting an onslaught of like tips right now, because somebody's going to recognize that perp on the video by, you know, by his clothing, by his gait, by the gun, the holster, to where he carries it. You know, I think it's just a matter of time. I mean, they already had a stop last night, right? A person of interest. So it's just.
So Mike, this first video that we're looking at here, I look at it and I see somebody obviously cognizant of the fact that there may be a camera there.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. It's possible that he's been there before. He knows that there's video surveillance in the house. You know, he's ducking his head. So he's wearing a mask. So he's very aware that there's some kind of.
Said what I said about him ducking his head and being aware that there's a camera there. Like they've been casing out the joint, or it was an inside job. This was a bad spot to stop this video. Good Lord, have mercy. Look at it.
Surveillance camera. The only thing that threw me off a little bit
that is
was
a
that
woman.
It looked like he was taken by surprise that there was like a Ring door camera, and then he wasn't quite prepared, you know, how to disable the camera. You know, he went to the bushes, ripped out some bushes, and he's trying to do like a makeshift cover. So prepared somewhat, not completely.
Talk to me about how important a detail such as the reflectors on the backpack could be, because somebody may know somebody with that specific particular backpack.
100%. Someone's going to identify his gear, his clothing, his backpack, it looks like a track jacket of some sort, some kind of a coat, his holster, his gun. Some people pointed out his sneakers, that it's, someone said there's like a split in the toe. These are very unique clothing that he's wearing that someone, that knows him or knows him from somewhere might be able to identify. And if he was in the area before, maybe in this house or other homes, he might have been wearing the same clothing. I'm sure the FBI is combing through all kinds of videos and surveillance, and him having this reflective jacket, right? That's going to be very easy to spot if he's recorded on other surveillance videos. So that's a big deal right there.
Let's talk now about the gun. I talked to someone this morning who believes that possibly is a Glock, a semi-automatic. Do you see the same thing, or do you see something different?
I mean, I got to be honest, just from that holster, I can't tell if that's a Glock. I can't tell. I mean, the butt of the gun sticking out a little bit, but then again, the color is a little bit perhaps reverse.
And remember, in this day and age, sometimes the shoes will give you away as well. Can we get 50 more likes on the like button, man? Double tap that screen if you have not. If you're on a mobile device, so click the 3 dots, hit that thumbs up. It would be greatly appreciated, y'all. This is crazy, y'all. But y'all know, hey, man, this day and age, they can identify you just from your shoes. What they got that dude with that pipe bomb in the Trump case by his shoes. They were able to match up the shoe evidence.
Yeah, I can't even tell if that's an automatic or a revolver, to be honest. It's hard for me to figure out just by looking at that.
Do you believe those are nitrile gloves, or do you think that's another type of glove?
Yeah, I think those are my girlfriend's a nurse, and I think those are surgical gloves. Initially, when I saw it, because up close, it looked kind of leather. But now that I'm looking at it and the way it wrinkles, it looks like there might be creases where it was folded. It looks like surgical gloves to me. And again, you see it, it doesn't look like leather. You see the folds on it. Yeah, to me, that looks like something that you'd get in a hospital.
We see the back of the backpack there as well. It's entirely possible that this backpack was purchased for this endeavor only. I mean, all of the items this person is wearing could have been purchased for this event. We don't know that, but it's possible. Do you think that the FBI can enhance this video to a degree and possibly find out the brand of this backpack, and then they'll start looking at the area stores to see within a certain radius who may have purchased such a backpack in the last couple of months?
Yeah, I'm sure they're doing that with every item this perpetrator is wearing, the jacket, the bag, even the mask, the sneakers. I was doing it myself with, I was just taking a still of the jacket, and I was looking it up on Google Lens, and it produced all kinds of images. I'm sure the FBI has more robust technology, and you're right, they can absolutely track that down in the area, who sells that style of jacket, that backpack, and they could probably track down a purchase. And then, of course, if they do find out a location like that, they're going to look at the surveillance videos in the stores to see if they can match anybody that fits his body shape and size and weight and height.
Mm-hmm. They've got this, ski mask on. Is there anything about the ski mask itself that sticks out to you? We've got a couple of different images of the ski mask, but does it just look like an old school ski mask to you? Is there anything distinctive about it?
Yeah, I mean, it looks like a regular mask that you could buy on Amazon. I did notice that, the mask is pulled all the way down, hiding his chin, hiding his neck, which could probably indicate that he might have facial hair that he's trying to conceal. It looks like a regular ski mask to me. What do you think? It's ribbed.
Yeah,
it looks like anything you buy anywhere.
I'm not a ski mask connoisseur, but it just looks like a regular old ski mask to me. I just know there are a lot of people who like the balaclavas these days,
Sure.
but that will show more of the eyes and the face. We also have this flashlight, and it would have to be small enough to fit inside the mouth. So we've got that as well. Talk to me a little bit about your thoughts on the flashlight. Obviously, this person has that in his mouth to see what he's doing.
Yeah, I mean, they have all kinds of flashlights. Now, I myself have a little square flashlight that looks like a lighter. And I was watching the news and somebody said that it looked rectangular. So it could be one of those, and he might be doing that purposefully.
Cupcake say grabbing grass is crazy. Hey man, he was trying to find whatever he could to cover up that camera. You know, he was being mindful of the camera. He just grabbed the first thing in sight, Cupcake, even though it didn't work.
Right, to block the video camera. So again, someone that had prior knowledge, aware of his surroundings, aware of the house, and he brought these things for that reason. Or he could be a professional burglar. He's done this before, and that's another thing they're going to look into, right? Anybody that's been collared or recently released in the area, who are these prowlers, burglars that have been collared around Pima County? They're absolutely looking at that database, looking for like a similar MO, anything that matches exactly what's happening here. Because if this guy did this somewhere else and it's recorded like in a police complaint report, a good report will document all that. We recovered this, a flashlight, the gloves. It should be pretty robust information contained in a database for a police department.
We also know from looking at this that this person appears to be left-handed. So
left-handed, just from watching the video.
Again, if he was arrested before, that might be noted in the police report. It seems like his left hand is his dominant hand. So very telling. So if we're looking for other surveillance, like the FBI are looking right now, they might be looking for people that are carrying things in their left hand. If they find a video of him purchasing at the store, is he carrying his phone in his left hand? Little things like that are nuanced might help identify this perpetrator. I think it's rich with information. And we know that we have eyes throughout the world right now trying to help identify this guy. And this video is everywhere. So it's good information.
Yeah, definitely good information. We see the reflectors again in this video. Obviously, there's a zipper jacket that this person is wearing, and then what appears to be some type of strip or stripe across it.
Yeah.
But that looks like it's almost part of the jacket if you look closely at that.
Yeah, I noticed that too. Definitely signature of whatever style. No one has identified that jacket yet. I'm actually surprised. I haven't been looking, but somebody has to know what that jacket is already.
Mike, another detail that stands out to me and others viewing this, I'm sure to you as well. If you look at the hole where the mouth is, we see facial hair.
They said
and the
mustache.
facial hair shows the prominent, mustache here. Also, we see the goatee type thing, part of a goatee, I would think it is. And then you see the eyebrows. So somebody who knows this person may suspect this person may remember, if this person hasn't shaved, oh my gosh, I know that facial hair. I know that mustache, even though I'm just seeing a small portion of it.
I'm not sure if I seen the mustache, but if they say it is, it is. It's a mustache connected by a goatee, is what they putting out to us. That's what she said.
Yeah, again, it's significant. If somebody is friends with this guy or is a family member or works with him, right? They're going to recognize him. I could put on a mask and all my friends will know exactly what I look like if they see me in a mask. Same thing
Somebody
here.
said makeup.
I know the FBI is heavily relying on the public to make an identification, and I'm sure calls are coming in right now. So, yeah, that's a big clue.
Is it possible for the FBI to do something like a retina scan, iris scan, that type of thing to try to identify this person? Is that possible, or is that just too high tech?
I think
Thank you.
Nothing's not, I wouldn't rule anything out. They have really good facial recognition technology that can like pinpoint on the eyes, and then they can match it to anybody in their database that has the same shaped eye. They can even do it if they recover surveillance videos and develop stills, right? And it's probably why they zone in on Carlos yesterday. I was looking at him as like, you know what? His eyes are very closely similar to what we can see in that image. So I'm sure they're employing that. That's how they targeted Carlos.
And what about the height of this individual? The height of the individual, do you think that they can get a ballpark based on where that person is standing as they walk back?
How tall
to grab
is
that
he?
plant, and then as they're walking in as well?
Yeah, that's quite easily done. They just go back to the scene, put a couple of guys that they think look similar in height, walk the same way, and they got his height. You know, they can even put measurements. They can even do it digitally. So that's done. They have that.
After last night's what appears to be a false alarm, if you will, do you think the tips are continuing to come in? These images are still being plastered all over the news.
Of course the tips gonna keep coming in. It's a $50,000 reward. What you think?
For sure. They're going to be getting thousands and thousands of tips. And that's going to be the struggle, right? They're going to have to vet all that information. They got to comb through all that. Thank God to have, the FBI there with a task force of investigators that can, vet all that information.
Mm-hmm. Well, we will keep a close eye on it. I think that gait of that person walking is telling. Combine the gait with the facial hair, the eyes. The eyes to me are kind of distinctive. I think it's all very telling. Mike Alcazar, thank you so much.
All right, so that was Law and Crime giving their breakdown of the 13 horrifying things that was revealed through that video footage. All right, let's go. Remember, they've been touching on these gloves that was found. Let's hear a little bit about these gloves, guys, that the perp had on. Let's go.
DNA, they can't necessarily identify or segregate.
Tim Clementi is a former FBI agent and SWAT leader. Tim, is there anything you want to pick up on what we were just talking about?
Yeah, I would add to what the value of those gloves. Not only would the suspect's DNA be on those gloves, it is very likely on the outside of the gloves that we might find Nancy's DNA. And I think that's the first thing they're going to try and eliminate is see, obviously they know her DNA. They can't necessarily identify or segregate his DNA yet.
They found the glove. Well, one of the gloves.
That will come. But right now, if they can test those gloves, they're going to test them for her DNA to see if she was touched by those gloves at any time. And if so, then obviously we know those gloves are related to this crime.
Why would you do a kidnapping and then toss the gloves used in the crime out on the side of the road and a mile and a half from the crime scene?
Well, I would say, Jesse, looking at the way this suspect behaved in front of that camera and the way he was dressed and the way he's carrying the gun, that this is a very amateur random act. This is not something that was preceded by pre-attack surveillance.
They said it was an amateur act, guys, meaning they don't think this guy's a professional. Like I said, some people think it's an inside job that's being done by the brother-in-law, allegedly. But that's some of the things. No, the son-in-law. That's some of the things that's been coming through my chat, y'all. I see some people making OJ references. If the glove don't fit, you must have quit.
Which most sophisticated criminals would do in a situation like this. And so I think he's just acting as he moves along and trying to figure out what to do next. I don't think there was a lot of pre-planning for this. And so tossing the gloves out, he probably tossed the mask somewhere else. So I'm sure as they search that route, and now they at least have a direction of travel, if those are his gloves, and they'll continue along that route and look further and further and probably find more and more evidence that he was wearing on that night.
Yeah, and the authorities are really focused in on the backpack. It looked full. What could that mean to you?
Well, I would agree that there could be other bags inside there if he was going in for a burglary. I imagine there were probably also tools, methods of restraint, maybe duct tape, things like that, rope. Those are common for people that go in and do home invasions. You'll see crowbars, pry bars, a hammer to break into something. So I imagine that he had some soft things in there and maybe a change of clothes for himself as well. I think he's an amateur, and the fact that he didn't pre-surveil and see that there was a video camera there until after he walked up to the door shows that there wasn't a lot of forethought put into this.
And the picture we saw of him, if we could put it up, without the backpack, without the weapon, right in the same area.
They seen him without the
What does that
backpack,
tell
without
you?
the weapon,
What's happening there?
in the same area.
Either that was
This
before he
picture.
came up with the backpack and the gun, or it was after. And if it was after, then I would question why. If it was before, it'd be understandable if he was going to try and walk to the door and surveil things and then.
So at one point, he didn't have a backpack or a weapon, guys. He was just out there. They don't know if this picture came from before he walked up or after. But at some point, he didn't have on the backpack anymore or the weapon.
Prepare for his assault or his attack. It's critical evidence to show that, and as we just heard from the FBI negotiator, that the gait and the way he stands and walks, the structure of his body is going to look more natural without that backpack. So it's vital to put both images up by the FBI so the public can see that, and somebody somewhere will recognize this individual. He's related to someone, lives next door to someone, has a former girlfriend, whatever, and somebody is going to see that image and recognize who this person is.
Well, someone,
that Amazon driver.
Someone allegedly is telling TMZ they have information on who this guy is. They're asking
More
for
on that
one
note.
Bitcoin, 66 grand. Do you take that seriously?
I really don't. And as you mentioned, the $50,000 FBI reward would be easily gained by someone who could point out the actual suspect. But the FBI is not averse to paying for information. We do it all the time. We pay sources for information, great sums of money sometimes, depending on the value of the information. And it's not unusual for the FBI to pay way more than an offered reward for information. And so this person, had they come directly to the FBI, would appear more legitimate. The fact that they're going through TMZ and asking for Bitcoin makes them seem like it's another scam.
Tim, thank you so much. That was great. Click here.
All right, so that's the latest in breaking when it comes to Miss Guthrie, guys. And what's going on in her situation. A brand new note has been found, as well as a glove has been discovered, that could potentially belong to the suspect, guys. When it comes to the Epstein files, we most definitely heard from the victims as well as their attorney. The way they told us the way they feel about the handling. We heard from Pam Bundy and her testimony to Congress, where she didn't answer not one question. I'm just saying, we pretty much walked down all the latest and breaking news, man. I hope y'all enjoyed the show. I most definitely hope y'all return. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed. Double tap that screen, hit that like button. If you have not, most definitely hit that like button. That's that glove right there, man. That's crazy. He just chunked it out on the side of the road, man. Two very interesting situations that's going on right now. And as long as they keep me updated, I will continue to keep y'all updated. Once again, I hope y'all enjoyed the show. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you are not, guys, most definitely subscribe to the channel. Memberships are available. All you have to do is go back to the home screen, click join, or look in the description box of any video that's posted on the channel, man. It'll tell you how to get you a membership. Most definitely. If you do nothing else, subscribe to the channel, man. Turn your notification bell on to all so that you won't miss any of this latest and breaking news, when it comes from everything news, because I most definitely broadcast the stories that catch my attention and hope they catch y'all's. And with that being said, man, y'all have a great night. Shout out to my new subscribers as well as my old subscribers. Shout out to all of my members. I appreciate each and every one of y'all. Shout out to anybody that sent a super chat or a super sticker. Shout out to anybody that sent me a gift. And overall, shout out to my moderators for keeping this chat running smooth. I know sometimes it get a little crazy, but I appreciate y'all keeping it in line. And with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and make my grand exit. But make sure y'all remember to leave me comments under this video about what you think about each one of these situations, man. And with that being said, y'all stay safe out there. Sidewalk Gang, checking out. I'll catch y'all on the next one. Y'all be good.